He's got to create a new thing for me. Okay. I think we're live. You ready?
Yeah, you want to pull up on the phone?
Yeah. Welcome to Huntley High School Live.
For our homecoming game against the Prairie Ridge Wolves.
Mic test. We're here in Huntley, Illinois for Huntley Red Raiders versus Prairie Ridge. Hoping that we have solved our tech issues here with about 12 minutes to go before the start of this game.
Visitor fans, there's a concession
Testing
card.
audio,
Right now, it's
we're
like the
having
10-yard
video
line.
issues, but
Visitor fans, if
if
you'd like to
nothing
get some
else, if we
concessions
can
and not
get
walk all the way,
audio
stop by
going,
that concession
we
card.
will be able to bring you
In
Huntley High
addition,
School
nice to
football
Columbus are here
versus
today
Prairie
to sell
Ridge
roasted corn
Wolves.
from Tom's Farm here in Huntley.
Still working on getting the sound here together. And now for my partner, Caden Slad, to test his microphone. We're working through these little issues here in Huntley, Illinois, but stay tuned for Huntley High School football as we work through these issues.
Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check. Is it delayed? Check. Cat, dog.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it still delayed?
All right, so I do believe that we have solved our technical issues, at least on the speaking and audio side. We are having issues with our video capture devices, but as our little YouTube description does say on here, that it is a radio, or more of a radio style broadcast. So we're gonna go ahead and run with that.
We're really just trying to give you folks the authentic experience.
You're learning with us as we go, and we are going to bring you Huntley High School football one way or the other tonight on this beautiful Friday night. The Prairie Ridge Wolves come in as the visiting team, the number 8 team in the state of Illinois with a record of 3-0. Huntley coming off a loss last week to their rival Jacobs. Caden, what does Huntley need to do to get back in the win column against such a tough Prairie Ridge team?
Well, if you ask me, the big story with really the high school team as a whole this year is the offense. Now, as we saw last year, and it's been the story of this offense for many years, it's just the typical ground and pound, run the ball offense. And last year, it worked as well as it has in a very long time with a run into the playoffs, making it all the way to round 2, further than Huntley tends to make it. And there's 2 big factors at play. One, that somewhat unforeseen success can make it hard to deviate to a different offensive style, but also the loss of senior running back Hayden Janke, partially the most important part of this Huntley team, makes it feel like you have to switch and pivot a little bit. And we have seen so far in this season a surprisingly diverse offense with a mix of running and passing. And I feel like that, if really amplified in this game, can help take this Huntley Red Raider team to a victory.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the impact that Hayden Janke had for the Red Raiders offense with him and Bauer returning at quarterback, but Janke, the senior running back, after 2 or 3 really solid years now departs. Him and Bauer were a really good 1-2 punch there in the backfield for Huntley. So now, with Janke departing, it leaves a big role open there at the running back position that has really been filled by Reichen Dorvik and Gavin Haynes. Speak to their impact a little bit, Caden.
Right, so as you've seen with Gavin Havens, a junior making his way onto this varsity team, very impressive. You have seen them attempt to fill the shoes of Hayden Janke We've also seen that void being partially filled by some of the receivers, such as Zach Rice-Savvy, which has really, you've seen the transformation this year with Braylon Bauer at quarterback, really having to take up a whole new style of play involving more deep passes than he tends to be used to, which with these more open weapons now and more different tactics being used on this offense, I feel like has really developed many players on this offense, especially Braylon Bauer.
Yeah, so you've kind of got that mixture that Huntley, they still really like to rely on the running game and then kind of mix in the passing where they can get it. But it's really kind of on a game-by-game basis where week 1 against Crystal Lake, you saw Bauer air it out a little bit more, couple passing touchdowns. But then you look at the game against McHenry, and each of the 2 running backs that we mentioned, Dvorak and Havens, each ran for 3 touchdowns, and they were really pounding away on the ground. So it really is kind of on a game-by-game basis. With a tough opponent against Prairie Ridge, what are you trying to kind of accomplish on offense?
Well, I feel like the important thing to note about both of those opening games was both Crystal Lake Central and McHenry. Quite frankly, they were both blowouts. They're both wins by multiple touchdowns. So I feel like a merging of those 2 styles that you saw at play in both of those big games, I think against this very tough Prairie Ridge team that Huntley has historically struggled against, notably being their only regular season loss last year, I feel like a combination of those 2 strong elements is what this Huntley offense is going to need to have to crack this Prairie Ridge defense.
And then, so on the Prairie Ridge side, come in 3-0. They're always a really tough team, and Huntley really seems to struggle against them with the last 3 games. Prairie Ridge beating them by an average deficit, or Huntley losing by an average deficit of 20 points. It kind of seems like Huntley, they get punched in the mouth early, and they kind of start to fall behind, and Prairie Ridge runs away with it. What do they have to do here to try to keep this one close, being at home?
Well, absolutely, and that's a huge part of high school football in general, is just nerves and morale. Obviously, these kids, no matter how good they seem, they're not professionals. Things can get to them and cut to them quite easily, especially during a homecoming game, which this happens to be. But you cannot deny the home field advantage, the home fans that are going to be chanting and cheering for them, probably even amplified due to the homecoming game. I feel like even if they go down early, which is very possible given this Prairie Ridge offense, as long as they can just keep their cool and stay collected, I feel like as long as it doesn't run away from them too early, a comeback is always possible. But easy solution is to just not go down in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, here, with the Huntley offense, the biggest thing is going to be controlling the clock, running out the ball, making sure that you're not turning it over, and giving this Prairie Ridge team extra chances, because it's already going to be hard to put up points against them, as they're averaging only about 15 points allowed per game. So Huntley's really going to have to rely on their defense, play a more slug-it-out, slower-paced game, where if they find themselves in a shootout with Prairie Ridge, they might find themselves in a little bit of trouble.
Right, and that's something that you know if you've been following Fox Valley Conference football for many years, is an early-on shootout against this Prairie Ridge defense does not tend to be the way that you want to roll. You really need to play a smart offensive game, and I feel like that is what we have started to see from Huntley this season. If they can continue that trend, try to bounce back from their loss last week, I feel like this game is very winnable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here, it's definitely going to be a tough opponent with Prairie Ridge. They've got an plus 87 point differential on this season, so they're not letting up any points. They're scoring and they're winning largely. They went 9 scoreless quarters to start the game. That's to start the season. That's over 2 full games worth of shutout defense. So Huntley definitely is going to have their work cut out for them on the offensive side of the ball. But it is a beautiful night here in Huntley, Illinois. You got Huntley wearing the red helmets, black jerseys, black pants. You got mostly white shoes going around for the Raiders. Couple wearing some black shoes out there. And then on the Prairie Ridge side for the Wolves, you got the white helmets, white pants, and white jerseys with blue numbering for the Wolves. As we are approaching just about 3 minutes before game time here. With this being on YouTube, us having a little bit of camera issues and I'm just kind of doing this on the fly here. We're going to try to live keep up with the scoreboard here on your screen. We'll change the quarters for you there, and at least we'll be giving you updates throughout as well. So as we're just a couple of minutes away from game time, I'm gonna let you guys step away real quick, grab a drink, maybe go to the bathroom. We're gonna get some final things put together here, and then we're gonna get going for Huntley Red Raiders against the Prairie Ridge Wolves here in Huntley, Illinois on this beautiful Friday on Sports Broadcast Solutions. All right, and we are back just in time for the national anthem as we have the Huntley marching band walking out to midfield now. The crowd is getting on their feet and removing all caps. We are going to let the national anthem play for you guys here.
At this time, if you could please rise and remove your hats as our Huntley High School Marching Band joins our Huntley Master Singers for the performing of our national anthem.
And with that rendition of the national anthem, we are just about ready to kick it off here between the Raiders and the Wolves on this Friday night. Beautiful 77 degrees, very little wind.
Beautiful performance by the choir, by the way. I'd like to point that out. It's a new group of rotating. Love to hear it.
Yeah. Very good numbers for the Bradley Band, as well as they're stretched out from the 35 to the opposite 40, with people lined up all across the field to perform that national anthem and the Huntley Red Raiders fight song.
Growing program, absolutely.
All right, Caden, so as we're just awaiting kickoff here, the number one key to the game for both teams. Go for it.
So, you know me. My typical philosophy on football, it all starts with the big dogs up front, right? Whether it's a win or a loss, it's all about the guys in the trenches. And I had a quick pregame conversation with Coach Wright of the Huntley High School offensive line, and I was reading absolutely nothing but confidence. He told me his philosophy going into every game. It is impossible for him to go into any game not thinking he is going to win. He just can't do it. And he was telling me he absolutely loves the game plan they have planned out. He knows it's a tough opponent ahead of him, typically going to be one of the hardest of the season. He says he loves their game plan, has nothing but faith in his guys that they're going to execute it perfectly, and sees no reason why they cannot walk away with a win this week.
Yeah, the offensive line. A lot of new faces on the offensive line, as Kelly Gassner, the right tackle, is the only returning starter for the Red Raiders. Over the first two games, it seemed to come together okay, but there's always room for improvement. What can they kind of grow on as a unit together?
Well, I can tell you from experience, a lot of O-line just simply has to do with chemistry, making sure everybody trusts each other to do their jobs. When you're on the O-line, you need to do your job. You can't worry about whether or not somebody else is doing their part. So if everybody can come together and trust that the guy next to them is skilled and knowledgeable enough to execute what they need to execute, that is how you save your quarterback. That's how you win football games. That is how you complete drives.
And then as for the Prairie Ridge side, Caden, what is kind of going to be their key to victory?
Well, as we talked about earlier with this diversity of the offense to the likes of which we have not seen in years, they're going to need to be prepared for an attack with the air and the ground. They've been able to stuff this Huntley offense for the last couple of years by basically just knowing that it's going to be a strong run game, and that's kind of it. But with this growing pass game that we've seen really develop over the last couple of weeks, they're going to need to be prepared for that as well, with also keeping an eye out for the new running backs such as Gavin.
As we finally have the teams taking the field in Huntley, starting it off, kicking off from the 40, kicking north to south, left to right for the Raiders to get this one underway. The kicker for the Raiders, Dominic Gusefi, getting ready to send this one skyward to the two returners back for the Wolves. Get you those names here in just 1 second. That is Luke Vanderweel, and returned by Vanderweel himself, and then an end around. And he's down the right sideline, and the kicker makes the tackle. Dominic Gusefi, one of the last men there available to make that tackle as he broke down the right sideline and past the 50-yard line.
And I tell you, that is a perfect tone setter. If you are this Prairie Ridge offense, that is how you need to start this game. The Huntley defense needs to make sure that does not get under their skin and they can still complete this drive successfully.
As the Prairie Ridge offense huddles up, ball on the Huntley 49.5-yard line. So already starting across midfield is the Wolves, with their quarterback, who they actually have possibly returning kicks at some point too, as he takes the snap up the middle, dives forward for a gain of about 2 or 3. That is Vanderweel on the carry. So they get their athlete playing quarterback and also returning kicks, Caden.
Yeah, that's some excellent athleticism you see there. Obviously right there, not quite as an explosive of a play. I feel like that really shows that this Huntley run defense not getting that really excellent kick return, not letting that get under their skin.
Prairie Ridge comes out in kind of that bunch formation, 2 wingbacks, 1 fullback, lots of motion, lots of inside runs as he turns and hands it right to the fullback on a dive up the middle, stopped for a very short gain by the Huntley Red Raiders
Yeah, stopped
defensive line.
effectively again by that Huntley run defense. On this third down, this Prairie Ridge offense is really going to need to adapt, and I feel like throughout the rest of the game, this is really setting the tone that they're not just going to be able to run it up the middle to beat this team.
There on the carry was number 4, Nick Petty, the running back, freshman. Now 3rd down and 5 from the 44. A minute into this game, and Huntley looking for a stop on this first drive. As the wingback motions, they go handoff up the middle, fake handoff, quarterback keeper around the left edge and fights forward for a first down. Broke a tackle, go forward for the first.
Yeah, that's some excellent yardage right there. Very well executed fake. Clearly really tripped up the Huntley defense. That's going to be something the defense really needs to look out for the rest of this game if the quarterback has that ability to fake.
Yeah, so with these 2 wingbacks and then the fullback, and then you obviously have the option of the quarterback taking off on his own as well. What are the keys for the Huntley Red Raider defense?
Well, that's absolutely a dangerous combination. The linebackers and the D-line are really going to need to make sure they know where the ball is at all times.
Just another handoff up the middle to Petty on first down. Decent gain of a few yards. We'll see where they mark it. Gain of about 2, maybe 3. Call it 2nd and 7 from the 32-yard line now. The wingbacks, Jesse Couts, number 20. We're still working on getting the whole roster together. It looks like Alexander Trejo as they go handoff up the middle again to Petty, but that one snuffed out by the Raiders. It looks like that might have been Colin Maston on the tackle.
Yeah, it seems like this Prairie Ridge offense really isn't taking too many hints so far. All they keep doing is trying to run it up the middle. That has not been where their successful plays are so far. I think pretty quickly in these first couple drives, they're going to realize that that is not the most effective strategy.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of successful runs off tackle from the quarterback Vanderweel, but the overall key to running the ball is pound it up the middle, and that's what they've done with Petty a couple of times here on 3rd and 7. 9 minutes to go in the first. The fake handoff up the middle to Petty. Vanderweel around the right edge, breaks 1 tackle, makes another man miss. He's got the first down and plenty more as he's inside the 20, inside the 15-yard line for another first down.
And I can tell you right away, defensively, that is going to be the biggest threat for Huntley. Every time that kid has kept the ball, it's wound up with great yardage. That's 2 first downs that he's gotten right now from behind the 3rd and 5. They're going to need to adjust to be able to take that out very quickly.
The biggest thing for the Huntley Red Raiders defense with these wingback formations, with the motions and a lot of fakes, is staying true to your keys. Making sure that if your guy is the wingback, that's who you are on. You're not watching the quarterback. You're not getting tied up in the wash, because then all of a sudden your guy's got the ball and you're in trouble out of position. As they motion Jesse Couts from the left wing, but before that, we have a timeout from Prairie Ridge with 8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. So before this first down and 10 play from inside the 20, Prairie Ridge wants to think it over.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, partner, I do not like that play at all. I personally believe that timeouts are very, very valuable to a football offense. I think it's frankly irresponsible to let your guys wait out that long and waste the first down in the first 4 minutes of this game.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you there. I mean, here, you still have over 8 minutes left in the first quarter. You only get 3 timeouts and you have a full half to go, so definitely want to preserve those timeouts, but you also don't want to get yourself into a bad position. If you've got a bad play call, you know, it's better than fumbling it or getting a play blown up. So Prairie Ridge, they thought it over and lined back up in their double wing formation. The wings, Jesse Couts and Alexander Trejo, with the running back Nick Petty behind. Couts goes in motion. They fake the handoff there, and there's Vanderweel again on the keeper, breaking tackles, fighting forward to the 1-yard line as he stopped just short of the end zone, but another solid run for the Prairie Ridge quarterback.
Yeah, it didn't quite make it. Looked for a split second, like he just got a touchdown. But again, it's that quarterback keeper that keeps tripping up this defense. They have failed to adjust to it so far, and if they can't figure that out, they're going to lose this football game.
It's very bunched up offense. You have the wings basically lined up a yard behind the two tackles. They'll motion behind the running back across the backfield. Then they'll fake it to the running back up the middle, quarterback keeper. So there's a lot of things to pay attention to here. First and goal from the 1, Couts motions. They go up the middle, and there's Vanderweel pushing forward. No signal yet, and there it is. Touchdown, Prairie Ridge.
And I tell you what, that is the way you want to start this drive. They're able to get the touchdown right away. Pretty minimal plays. Obviously, they started with great field position, but they didn't need to put the ball in the air once. Simply running the ball, gets on the first down every time. Excellent tone setter for this Prairie Ridge offense.
Yeah, very leaky there for the Red Raiders defense as they were unable to stop Vanderweel on the quarterback keepers. As we have a flag on the field before the extra point. Prairie Ridge kind of coming out in a weird formation with half the team lined up on the left hash.
Yeah, it definitely looks like there may have been a little bit of miscommunication there. We're still waiting to see this call.
And it is going to be a penalty on Prairie Ridge. So back them up now from the 3-yard line to about 6 or 7 yard line. The kicker for Prairie Ridge. We can get that name for you here.
And the kick is up, and it is good. That's the extra point.
And that's Gabriel Porter putting
Prairie
that
Ridge
one
goes
through.
up 7-0.
So with 7 minutes and 41 seconds, Prairie Ridge drives right down the field on this Red Raiders defense. So now, time for the Raiders offense to to come back now and answer, as you do not want to kind of have a 3 and out and fall behind early.
Exactly. Just as mentioned earlier, that has been the big weakness of Huntley when playing Prairie Ridge. They fall behind early. Their defense has no answer for the offense. Their offense is their defense to go down by a couple touchdowns in the first half. They just cannot come back. That is the number one thing this team needs to really focus on preventing. If they can come back and answer this touchdown, then that is the perfect start for this offense. We'll have to wait and see.
Visitor fans, don't forget to get concessions from the concession
As the
cart.
Raiders kick return team gets back to receive this kick. Your return men for the Raiders are Zach Rasavi and Connor Wade, the receiver. A couple receivers, defensive backs, some speed guys to return this kick as they're awaiting from Chase Santucci. Kicking from just inside the left hash are the Wolves on the 40-yard line, right to left. Whistle's blown, and the kick is skyward. As Rasavi back to about the 2-yard line, takes a look, turns right, and is tackled down by about 3 or 4 Wolves just past the 20-yard line, and that's where the Raiders offense will set up shop.
Yeah, not exactly the best field position, especially after seeing what Prairie Ridge was giving its best safety. But could be a whole lot worse. Still very possible to make this work.
Yeah, nice high kick, lots of hang time, allowed the kick team to get down there, play good coverage. They stayed in their lanes as Braylon Bauer, the quarterback for the Raiders, in the shotgun formation, 5 wide receivers to start this one out for the Raiders. Wide side of the field to the top. 3 receivers that way. Bauer goes hard count and looks for the play call at the sideline. They reset the snap, and it's going to be a quarterback draw on 1st and 10, and that is blown up immediately by the Wolves' defensive line. The first one there on the tackle, number 63, Walter Pollock, the 6-foot senior.
Braylon's going to be taken down way behind the line of scrimmage there. Not how you want to start this drive. Frankly, terrible for morale, but they're going to have to hopefully adjust.
The defensive line blew up the Raiders' offensive line on that one. They go hard count again. Look to the sideline for the play. You've got a few receivers out wide again. You got Connor Wade out there. Noah Van DeVorde. 5 wide again. The snap is fumbled. It's low. Bauer picks it up, rolls right, flips it out to the receiver, Colin Hotchmuth. So, short game there, but it could have been way worse with the fumbled snap.
Could have been much worse. That looked like off to a terrible start. Somewhat impressive the fact he was able to make the completion at all. But
all right, Caleb. So you've got 3rd and 7 now. After a blown-up run play on 1st down and a fumbled snap on 2nd, not the start you're looking for, is now the Raiders go to substitute and bring in the running back Gavin Haynes on 3rd down. 4 wide receivers this time. Bauer in the shotgun, Haynes to his left. They motion the slot receiver. He looks left, fires, and that's overthrown, intended for the receiver Jordan Uruche, and that's going to bring up 4th down and the Raiders punt team.
Yeah, just like we talked about, absolutely not how you want to start. 3 and out. Hate to see it, however. Frankly, I feel like Jordan Uruche, slightly overthrown, still a somewhat catchable ball.
I think there was a little bit of a miscommunication there, too. It looked like Uruche was kind of coming inside, and Bauer threw that back over his shoulder to the sideline. They had some defenders on the inside as well, so a very short drive for the Raiders. They only gained 3 yards in less than a minute off the clock, and they have to punt it away with 2 Wolves standing at their own 45-yard line awaiting the return. The snap and the punt is sent in the air. Relatively short punt fielded at the 45, and he's tackled very quickly. That is Logan Fennis on the return. Short gain of about 4. Wolves take over at their own 47-yard line.
Yeah, that's an excellent takedown almost immediately after the catch, especially compared to what we saw with the first kick return. Much better showing this time.
Wolves offense takes over already up 1 score, so you know that the Raiders defense is looking for a quick stop, maybe even a turnover to try to get some momentum back on their side. Wolves offense comes back in their bunch formation. They motion the wing back and go up the middle again with Vanderweel. Breaks 1 tackle, fights forward again. A very powerful runner. The quarterback Vanderweel gets 8.
I tell you, their bunch formation, the Huntley defense just cannot get past it. They keep being confused. They keep being confused with where the ball is at. Not sure where the play's going. Prairie Ridge offense is going to continue looking really good if Huntley cannot figure out how to adjust to it.
And these are one of those formations that you don't typically see very often anymore, like the Raiders. They come out in spreads, 4-3 wide receivers. This is kind of old-fashioned pound-it football. As the Trejo on the motion, they go option as Vanderweel pitches it to the motion man and just tripped up possibly a touchdown-saving tackle by the Raiders defensive back, Justin Jacobson.
Yeah, and that's another huge pitch play by Prairie Ridge, just like you were saying. A little bit of an old-fashioned play, old-fashioned formation, especially for high school. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's been working for years for Prairie Ridge, and it seems like it's going to continue working here.
Yeah, Jesse Couts, the wingman on the right side of the offense, motion behind the running back. They faked it to Petty up the middle, and Vanderweel with the pitch option to his left flipped it out right before getting tackled. So a 1st down for the Wolves at the 35. Bunch formation again. Petty the fullback. Trejo the motion. They go fake again. Vanderweel makes 1-man miss. Picks up a yard or 2 on the 1st down run, bringing up 2nd and 8.
Yeah, much more effective stop than we've seen before. Got a little bit of a simpler play. Maybe this is the start of something defense figuring out how to.
Yeah, and I mean, here, if you're the Raiders defense, you get a couple of stops, but if you're the Wolves, you're not mad about that. Your offense is designed to just pound it away, weaken that defense as the game goes on, so you get stronger. You have 3 guys running the football. It makes it hard for that defense to stay fresh. They go Trejo on the motion, fake the handoff up to Petty, the middle, and Vanderweel is dragged down, but not before picking up another couple of yards. 3rd and 6 for the Wolves.
This is one of the better positions we've seen from the Huntley defensive perspective. 3rd and 6. Again, they've only gotten 2 yards on the last 2 plays. We're going to have to see them really lock it down, make sure another quarterback keeper does not fool them for a 1st down for Prairie Ridge.
3rd and 6. Huntley has allowed a few 1st down runs on 3rd and mid, so we'll see if they can get a stop here. As the fake handoff, Vanderweel takes it again, and 6 Red Raiders defenders are there at the 30 to bring him down, and now it's decision time for the Wolves.
Yeah, this is the first 4th down that this Prairie Ridge team has seen so far. We're going to have to see what they go for. Just looking at the team out there, it looks as though they're going to go for it.
Yeah, with the ball at the 30-yard line, that's bringing up about a 57-yard or a 47-yard field goal. That's really on that edge range for these high school kickers. You're having success running the ball. It's only 4th and 5. I think this is the right call for the Wolves as they come out with 2 fullbacks now and 1 wingman. Vanderweel drops back to pass this time. He's got a man, and it is caught. That is the receiver, number 3, Brock Johnson.
Yeah, the Wolves really taking a risk there. That's quite the risky play for a 4th down conversion, but they clearly had a lot of faith in their receivers, and it paid off. This is excellent field position inside the red zone. We're going to see how the Wolves play.
And we do apologize if that's not Brock Johnson who caught that pass, as Prairie Ridge's roster has about 4 people listed as the number 3. So we hope we were correct on that name, but it's very possible we were not.
Yeah, it's going to be a guess every time.
Vanderweel. Oh, this time it was Vanderweel on the keeper again. 2 fullbacks fake the handoff, but Huntley not falling for that one. Finally, a tackle for loss for the Raiders defense.
Yeah, taking down behind the line of scrimmage for the first time. That's really the biggest defensive play that the Raiders have had. Hopefully they can continue this momentum to prevent a touchdown from the Wolves.
Yeah, finally a 2nd and long situation. 2nd and 14. Just over 2 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. Prairie Ridge up 7-0. In the huddle awaiting the play call from the sideline. Play clock winding down to 5 now. Wolves better hurry. They motion their fullback, 2 guys in the backfield behind Vanderweel. Handoff up the middle, short gain as Huntley makes another stop. Almost back to about the line of scrimmage. Might be about a 3rd and 10.5 coming up for the Wolves. Need a stop if you're the Raiders defense. Hold them to a field goal. Get the ball back.
Absolutely. For the first time so far for this Wolves team, they're facing a 3rd and long situation. Again, we saw a pretty bold, risky play on their last 4th down conversion. I expect to see something similar for this 3rd down play.
You got Trejo in the backfield along with Petty behind the quarterback Vanderweel. They go handoff up the middle. Nope, they faked it to Petty. Vanderweel kept it. Just another short gain of about 2. Lots of faking and motioning. We're even getting a little confused up here, Caden.
Yeah, hard to tell as the ball even from the broadcast perspective.
So now a 4th and 10. So did not pick up any yards on that 3rd down play. Does look like Prairie Ridge is going to bring in their field goal unit here. So the kicker, Gabriel Porter, looking to put one in from about 33 yards. It's up and it is crushed, but no good as it was wide right, I'm thinking.
Yeah, and that kick was an absolute boot, but just not the accuracy that you need here. And that's obviously a huge problem you see in kick around almost every high school team. Even if they have a leg for it, accuracy is rarely there, at least to 100%.
Yeah, so if you're the Raiders defense, that's exactly what you want. Play a little bit of bend, but don't break. Yes, short field. You only let up about 20-25 yards. Force a long field goal. Now your offense gets back out on the field at the 20-yard line, trying to find some momentum.
Yeah, that's what you want to do here if you're the Raiders defense. All you need to do is, when the score is still only by 1 possession, give your offense another chance to strike back, and that's exactly what they did.
3 receivers to the left. They go handoff to Haynes around the left edge, but he is tackled for a loss of 4 as the Raiders' offensive line was blown up on that 1st and 10 run.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that play just did not have the chance to get off the ground. You never really saw Havens took off, really did not have the opportunity. We're going to have to see how they adjust on the 2nd and long.
Raiders' offense moving quick. Haynes in the shotgun to the right of Bauer. Twin set receivers. Connor Wade is out there. Aruche is out there as well. Bauer takes the snap, looks right, fires. He's got a man open, and that is caught diving, so not very many yards, but the catch was made by Wyatt Fleck.
Yeah, that was thrown quite short by Bowers, but Wyatt Fleck was able to bring it in and still make a solid play. This is going to be 3rd and we're going to call it 3rd and 2 for this Raider offense.
Short little comeback route to end the first quarter, so we will approach the 2nd quarter with a Red Raiders 3rd and 2. We will be right back here on Sports Broadcast Solutions.
And back judge, Matt
All
Bennett.
right, and we are back for the second quarter as we switch sides of the field. Huntley now going right to left, south to north. Bauer in the shotgun, but before this 3rd and 2, we have an official timeout as the chain game wasn't in position yet. So as we get everybody in position, the players await this 3rd and 2 from the 28-yard line of Huntley.
Yeah, we saw a pretty promising start of this offensive drive for the Raiders. We're going to have to see if they can pick up these extra couple yards and really get this drive off to a good start.
Motion man Bauer, quarterback's keeper up the middle to the right, and that is snuffed out and stopped. The first man there, number 44, Jace Kranig, the linebacker with a big stop. 4th and 2 brings in the Huntley punting unit again.
Tackle by number 44, Jace Kranig.
What do you think about that play call, Kate, and the quarterback keeper with all the receivers spread out on 3rd and 2?
Well, I get what they're trying to do with a little bit of misdirection. I mean, we've seen that play work many times for this Huntley team. Has not found huge success so far in this game. Not what I would have gone with, but they gave it a shot. Didn't work out.
Now punting is going to be the kicker, Nico Gruino. Short liner is fielded at the 40-yard line, taken around the right edge. That is Logan Fennis. He's still going around the right edge across the 30 and forced out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. Another good return sets the Wolves up shop.
Yeah, that's clearly what this Wolves team does great. Going to put them almost in the red zone just based off of the punt, similar to how we saw from the original kickoff. This Raider defense really just going to need to bear down here if they want to stop another score and really keep this game from slipping away.
Yeah, it's one of those things, partner, that when you're playing a team as good as Prairie Ridge, who's very fundamentally sound, you have to make sure that you are winning in all facets of the game. You cannot only play good defense. You can't only play good offense. You have to play good special teams along with both sides of the football. So now, 1st and 10 from the 25. Bunch formation again for the Wolves. Trejo in motion. They hand it off to Petty up the middle. Decent gain of 5. Really fell forward for a couple extra yards there was Petty.
Yeah, very solid gain. That's even more successful than most of these run up the middle plays we've seen from the Wolves so far. Very frankly, this Raider defense cannot afford to keep letting those plays get through for so many yards.
Moving quick is the Wolves offense. Trejo in motion again. They fake the handoff to Petty. Nope, the handoff does go to Petty again, this time up the middle. Short gain brings up 3rd and mid, 3rd and 5.
Again, such a great fake game from this kid. You can barely tell where the ball's going. Raider defense got these Wolves for a 3rd down situation. Let's see if they can stop the conversion.
Favorable spot gave them about the 18-yard line, so really a 3rd and 3 now, and that brings up so many more opportunities in that running game for the Wolves. So the Raiders looking for another stop on 3rd down in field goal range. Petty, the fullback, behind the quarterback, Vanderweel. 2 wings, Trejo motions right to left. They fake the handoff to Petty. Vanderweel around the left edge, falls forward, and it's going to depend on the spot, but I do think that he got it, partner.
But there's a flag on the play we're going to have to see.
And it's going to be a hold on the offense. So a little bit of a break there for the Raiders defense as that's going to back the Wolves up 10 yards on 3rd down.
Yeah, nothing better that you like to hear there if you're the Raiders on the 3rd down, holding, especially when they most likely would have moved those chains. Good a call as you can get.
And actually only a 5-yard penalty, so maybe an offsides or an encroachment, illegal formation, something that went on there. So a 3rd and 8 for the Wolves. Needing a big stop are the Raiders defense, who just brought in their junior lineman, Ryan Wable, who actually plays left tackle as well. So look for Wable to make a big play here on this 3rd down. Little shifting from the offense here are the Wolves. Single back. That's Petty behind Vanderweel. Vanderweel drops back to pass. He's under pressure, and he takes off up the pocket to the right, around the edge, to the 10, falls forward and is smashed, but not before he gets to the 1-yard line, setting the Wolves up for another 1st and goal.
Yeah, really an excellent run. We've seen keepers before. That is the best display of his ability on his legs that we've seen so far. Put under pretty heavy pressure by the Raiders, able to escape out of it.
Yeah, very quick decision-making there from the quarterback to step up in the pocket. Notice nothing is there. Take off and run. So now 1st and goal. Vanderweel under center. They hand it off to Petty up the middle, and he is in for another Wolves touchdown.
We're starting to see this offense really slip away from the Raiders. This misdirection, they really just haven't had answer to it. We see a huge gain from the quarterback keeper on the last one, even if it was just under pressure, and they're unable to stuff that play. This is now a 2-possession game. We're really going to see if this Raiders offense has what it takes to strike back.
Yeah, Prairie Ridge really ran roughshod through them again on that drive. Obviously, starting at the 25 makes it pretty easy for them as the extra point is up and good. So now a 14-point deficit for the Raiders. 9:21 remaining here in the second quarter. We will be right back here on Sports Broadcast Solutions. All right, and we are back here in Huntley, Illinois. This beautiful 77-degree night, but not very beautiful for the Raiders so far in this first half. What do they need here after this kickoff to try to get some momentum back?
I mean, as we've seen this first early part of the game, absolutely nothing shaken for this Raiders offense. They're really going to need to figure out the weakness to this Prairie Ridge defense, see what they can really just push through to at least get something on the board, help this from getting really out of hand.
The kick is sent deep. Savvy up a couple of steps to his 7-yard line, returns it. Finds a seam to the right, is dragging a defender to the 25-yard line. So about the same field position that the Raiders have had all game. They need to find a way to hold on to the ball, pick up some yards, and give your defense a little bit of rest.
Yeah, similar to these returns they're having. Not bad returns, but they are making them go a pretty great distance and touchback returns. Yeah, we're going to have to really see them break off a couple big plays to just keep this alive.
Raiders will come out with twins to the wide side of the field left, twins to the top of the field to the right. It's Bauer in the shotgun, one running back to his left. I believe that is Haynes. The snap, Bauer looks left, quick slant, and that is way underthrown, intended for Jordan Aruche on the slant route, brings up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't know if it's just the nerves of this being his homecoming game, especially his senior year, but the accuracy from Braylon Bowers has been showing, frankly, not at all.
Huntley moving quick again. It seems like there's almost not a rhythm for Bauer. He gets the snap, he sits there, he's staring at his receiver, and then throws it. There's no rhythm, there's no looking around the field. So they come out with trips here, possibly looking to throw the ball again. Bauer takes the snap, and they are. He looks right, fires to the running back out of the backfield. That is Riken Dvorak up the right sideline.
45. Excellent play.
Finally, the Raiders pick up a first down with a little swing pass to Dvorak. Nice gain there as we approach 9 minutes before halftime.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, except for a couple of notable exceptions, Braylon's O-line has, for the most part, given him enough time to figure something out on these passing plays. That's one of the only times we've really seen him take full advantage of that time so far.
Got the wide receiver Savvy motioning to trips on the left. Bauer again swings it out to the running back Dvorak. Powers forward, and the ball's out. Prairie Ridge says they have it. They're jumping around like crazy. The refs say they do, and Huntley turns it over on first down inside their 50-yard line. Not what you were looking for.
That is the absolute last thing you can let happen if you're this Raider offense. Already in danger of this game getting really out of hand with it already being 2 possessions. Ended it with the last play turned out excellent for huge yardage, almost got to the 50. Terrible fumble.
This is one of those situations that you see with like the Bears in the NFL, that you can only put your defense out there so much and so often and expect them to continue to answer the call. You have to be able to control the clock, pick up yardage, and keep your defense off the field, but unable to do that are the Raiders as the Wolves take the first down snap. Vanderweel fakes it up to the middle to Petty. gain of 3 sets them up for a second and 7.
Jonas Owens.
Yeah, Huntley defense
Second
not
and
really
7.
not letting that one get through for a couple yards.
But here, you know, when you're constantly getting 3 yards at a time, think about it. You got 4 plays, 3 yards each one of those plays, and you're at 12, and you're picking up first downs. As you continue to do that, you will break one.
Exactly. It doesn't seem impressive, but if you're getting 3 yards every single play, you're going to win a football game.
Yep, 2 fullbacks in the back of Vanderweel under center. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff, rolls out right. This time up the field, breaks one
breaks
tackle
another tackle.
across the 40, and is tripped up and brought down. That was the linebacker for the Raiders, number 54. Don't
Same
have
thing
him.
we've seen throughout this first almost quarter and a half. Raider defense really not having much of an answer for this quarterback's running ability. What do you think they're going to need to do to really adjust to that?
They're going to have to make a couple of adjustments with their linebackers playing outside, kind of in that like B-C gap between the guard tackle and then outside the tackle. They're going to have to key on those quarterback rollouts. Is Vanderweel here again under center, and they go handoff this time up the middle to Petty. But the biggest thing with these offenses for Prairie Ridge is Vanderweel sells that fake every single time. You don't know if he has the ball until everybody's already on the ground.
Exactly.
And that's why the biggest key on defense, tackle your guy.
Right.
If it looks like he's got the ball, tackle your guy.
Exactly. And this is his faking ability. For high school, you really don't see it get too much better, and you can tell how much it's really confusing this defense. No real answer to it so far.
Vanderweel also just 5'8", so kind of small, is able to kind of tuck himself in there. As another speed option, that one was flipped out to the running back Petty. A short game, but it does pick up enough to be a short and manageable 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3.
3rd and 3.
Yeah, that's some solid improvisation there from the Wolves. You see, gets the ball under pressure, able to find an open man to pitch it. Even if that's not how it was drawn up, ended up perfect.
Really moving along in this second quarter. 6 minutes and 15 seconds now remain. The Wolves have the ball inside the 30 at the 29-yard line. 3rd down and 3. Huntley needing a stop. Vanderweel under center again. Trejo and Petty behind him. They fake the handoff to Trejo. Vanderweel keeps, stretches forward, but I don't think he's going to get it. The tackle there made by Charlie Condon, the linebacker.
Yeah, Chain Gang saying that's going to be a 4th down.
4th and 1. Offense staying out on the field. Partner, I think this is probably the right decision.
Absolutely. With the consistent yardage, even if it's only for a couple yards, in this situation, it's a 4th and 1. That is all you need. The consistent yardage we have seen that these Wolves can get no matter what the situation is. Absolutely no reason to do anything else.
There has been one single play that the Wolves have not picked up positive yards, and he had a field goal kicker that missed a field goal wide. So, obvious decision to go for it on 4th and 1.
Yes,
Vanderweel under center. Handoff up the middle. That's Petty, and he's got it by a good 2.5 yards. So that'll be a fresh set of downs.
Exactly what we were saying. Not exactly some sort of stellar out of this world play. He's Petty. He's able to just get you those 2 yards and get the first down.
Sometimes you don't have to be pretty about it. Just hand the ball to your guys and let them go to work. Lots of rotations being had on the defensive line. You're seeing Wabel come in, Pinter, Mason Maldonado, all of these guys rotating in and out. As Maldonado actually coming off the field here, and Gassner, the tackle, coming in. So trying to find bodies to stop this run. Vanderweel fakes the handoff, rolls out right, trying to make men miss in the backfield. Manages to pick up a short gain of 1. So a nice play there to snuff it out by the Raiders defense.
Yeah, one of the better responses to a quarterback keeper that we've seen from the Raiders so far. One of the only ones that hasn't really broken off decent yardage. So we'll see what the Prairie Ridge offense is going to do to respond to that.
Anthony White, one of the defensive linemen, off the field now as Matthew Kokis, the big nose tackle, in there looking to make a stop here on 2nd down.
If you're a student of the
We're seeing the big
course,
man, Matthew Kokis.
please start heading
He's got
down
a
the
lot of
track
weight
and
to
meet
break
Miss
into this
Fulton
defensive
to start
line.
lining
We'll
up.
see if he has what it takes to stop this up-the-middle run that Prairie Ridge has been rolling with so far.
Vanderweel under center, tight formation, handoff up the middle to Petty. He's stopped down for a short gain, so there he was, the big man Kokis. plugging up the holes, forcing a 3rd and 7 now. Maybe even a 3rd and 6. It looks like the chain gang gave him an extra yard.
Yeah, it seems like this defense is really figuring out what works, and it seems like mostly it involves bringing a lot of weight, especially up front to the defensive line, and figuring out size is mostly just what it takes to stop this up the middle run. I bet you're not going to see that same play run again for this.
Ryan Wable in at left end on this 3rd and 6. Vanderweel goes hard count, and that is, I believe, Gassner, the right end, jumping on the hard count. So that's going to be a free 5 yards. And again, there is such a big difference for this Prairie Ridge offense than 3rd and 7 than there is 3rd and 2.
Right, on this drive, we've seen the Raiders able to make a couple stops for under 2 yards to really plug up this Wolves offense, but they're giving them 3rd and 1.
Yeah, 3rd and about 1.5 from the 16-yard line. Needing a stop is the Raiders defense. You really cannot afford to let up a first down inside your own 15-yard line. Double tight end set, 2 fullbacks, Vanderweel under center. Fakes the handoff up the middle, and it is the handoff up the middle. A very short gain. I think it's going to depend on the spot here, partner.
Yeah, stuffed almost immediately. We're going to have to see the official decision here.
He is right on the 15-yard line. It looks like he's going to be just inches short, but here we go again.
Yeah, they're calling that one a 4th down. Obviously, the Wolves are going to stay out, probably run almost the exact same play. This Raiders defense has really been picking it up in terms of just being able to stuff that up the middle run. We'll see if they can keep that momentum rolling here and make one of the big stops of the game.
You know, it is. It's one of those things that, yes, they are starting to not get gashed for 5, 6, 7 yards at a time, but still 2, 3, and then you get a 5-yard penalty. Now it sets them up for a manageable 4th down. But before this, with 2 minutes and 9 seconds, Prairie Ridge takes their 2nd timeout of the half as they want to think over this 4th and 1 play. What do you think's coming here, Caden?
Frankly, based just off what we've seen in these situations, the Wolves have been in this situation a couple times throughout this game. I don't see why it's worth burning timeout to really talk it over. Like you said, there's only been one running play so far where they've not gotten at least a yard. I am surprised that they feel that there's a discussion that needs to be had over just running it up the middle with Petty and hoping to gain those couple inches with the move.
4th and 1 from the 15, 2 minutes and 9 seconds remain before halftime in this one. Not much happening for the Raiders on the offensive side of the ball, and they're fighting right now on defense. They're really fighting hard, trying to preserve this deficit.
Absolutely, the defense has been carrying really all the weight for Huntley so far, and obviously this is something that just cannot continue. The Raiders offense is going to need to show something.
Timeout is over. Vanderweel approaches the center. 2 fullbacks again. That's Petty and Trejo. Trejo gets the handoff, gets the fake handoff, and that's Vanderweel diving forward for yet another short 1st down.
Yeah, like I said, same type of thing we've seen him run a couple times. It's worked every time. Of course, it's bound to work again. You know, we have a red zone 1st down for the Wolves. It's looking pretty good for them, I got to say.
Ryan Wable off the field now. Now, I quickly touched on it, but Luke Vanderweel, just 5'8". So you're hiding behind all those big offensive linemen, getting in tight with all your fakes. It's really hard to see Vanderweel, and he is really having success right now. Takes the 1st down snap, keeps it after the fake to Petty, breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2 tackles, and breaks a 3rd into the end zone. With 1 minute and 37 seconds, the Wolves take a 20-0 lead, PAT pending.
And that is exactly just like what you were talking about. 5'8", almost everybody's going to tell you that's really just too small to be a quarterback. You need to have at least a little bit of size, a little bit of height to get full view of the field. But being a small guy at the quarterback position has some advantages just like that, being able to really squeeze through and outrun most of the defense.
Now the kicker for Prairie Ridge out to make this a 21-0 lead. It is up, through, and good. 21-0 here in Huntley, Illinois as we approach the end of this 1st half. 1 minute and 37 seconds remain. We will be right back here on Sports Broadcast Solutions. Alrighty, and we are back here with 1 minute and 37 seconds left. Huntley, they still have one timeout remaining. If they can get a good return, try to get some points on the board before half.
Yeah, there's no two ways about it. This is the most important drive of the game so far, and really most likely for the rest of the game for the Raiders. If they go into halftime being down 3 touchdowns, there's not too many worse situations you could be in, really. This is absolutely huge.
Ball teed up on the 40-yard line. Kicker sends it deep, and there's Rasavi again, up a couple of steps to his 7 again. Rasavi up the middle. Puts his head down and is wrapped up by 3 Wolves defenders before the 25-yard line. Huntley takes over at their own 23, minute 31 remaining.
Yeah, not an ideal field position, not exactly return, but, could be worse.
Now, I understand where you're at in this game, where you've been at all game long, but to see 1 handoff to Havens and 1 handoff to Dvorak total, and only 2 or 3 keepers for Bowers, they are not running the ball. They haven't had many plays, but now down 21, you have to throw the ball. So 4 wide, Bowers steps back, looks right, quick pass, and that's almost intercepted, intended for Colin Hotchmuth. A dangerous throw there.
Real close, just pretty much right through the hands of the linebacker. But yeah, there's no other way to say it. Whatever you're doing on offense, it's not working. You're down 3 touchdowns going into the half. You really need to switch it up. Even if Braylon Bowers' accuracy has not been quite up to par, you're really just going to have to trust him here.
Gavin Haynes in the backfield to the left of Bauer. He steps back, looks left, fires a duck that is dropped by Jordan Aruche, the left wide receiver on the slant route. So kind of that same play that we saw Bauer short it. He kind of threw that one a little wobbly. Aruche unable to hang on.
Yeah, ball was pretty much in his hands, but he was under pretty tight coverage. Really just bad situation for him. We're going to see 3rd and 10 for the Raiders offense now. Huge play.
Trips to the left. Connor Wade, the wide receiver. Bauer looks that way. Pressure. He steps up to the right, and he's going to take off. Put his head down and run through a defender for the first down. So a positive play for the Raiders there on 3rd down.
Excellent improvisation from Bowers. See him under tight pressure. Looks nothing there. Really just does it himself. Is able to move the chains. Absolutely what you need out of your quarterback.
Ran through the tackle of the defensive back for Prairie Ridge. Now steps back, looks left, fires. And a short gain there from Connor Wade as he's wrapped up immediately after catching the ball. Maybe a gain of 2.
But there is a flag on the play. You're going to have to see what the officials are saying here.
Quick swing route, flag on the play, as Connor Wade did get to the 40-yard line. As we await the call from the referee, and it looks like they are going to be backing the Huntley offense, holding on the offense. So that is going to back Huntley up to their own 32-yard line now for a 1st and 20, under a minute remaining before halftime. Not what you wanted there, partner, after a positive game.
I get the nerves can get to you, but in this crucial situation, those are not the kind of mistakes you can afford to make here.
Aruche and Wade, twins to the left. Rasavi to the top, motions to that way. They go screen pass to Aruche. He's got a block, tries to make a spin move up the sideline, fights for a few yards. Is able to get about 8 of those penalty yards back and out of bounds. So the clock does stop at 41.8 seconds.
Yeah, that's a fine play. They're able to get a couple of the yards that they lost back. Most importantly, pretty much got the free time out by going out of bounds. And
trips now to the wide side to the right. Bauer rolls that way, looks that way. He's looking deep. He's got a guy. He's there, and it is dropped again. That one by Zach Rasavi as he was across the 50, but dropped it at the 45-yard line going out of bounds.
Yeah, that was possible for a huge game-saving yardage gain. Unfortunately, really tight coverage, just could not hang on to it.
Ball on the 35 left hash, 3rd and 12 for the Raiders offense. Now with 35 seconds left, Prairie Ridge still has a timeout. You almost don't want to give them the ball back. Bowers drops back again, and a quick pass, that's to Colin Hotchmuth on a slant, almost kind of a slant curl, as he's tackled at the 40-yard line, well short of the first down. It's going to bring in the punting unit with 29.3 seconds remaining.
I'll be quite honest with you. I don't like this at all. You cannot afford. I understand it's a very difficult conversion at 4th and 6, not even past midfield yet. Quite simply, it's already a 3-possession game. You cannot afford to come up empty-handed here. Giving the ball away, I just don't think it's the way to do it.
I think I'm going to have to disagree here, partner. I think you need to try to kick this thing as deep as possible and force them to go as far as you can. If you don't pick up this first down and they get the ball on their own side of the 50, they can score in the next 20 seconds. If you kick that ball down to the 30-yard line, force them to have to go 70 yards with no timeouts in less than 30 seconds remaining, you need to force them to go the length of the field in a very short amount of time. You have not been able to move the ball on offense in this first half. Don't dig yourself deeper. Cut your losses in this first half.
I understand that perspective. However, we have seen the kicking special teams unit from Huntley has really been lackluster. They let up on the first kick of the game, a kick return to go past midfield, and several pretty long punt returns too.
You're very correct. They do bring out the punting unit, but short kicks previously have the team lined up at the 35, but there is a flag and a false start, so that's going to back the Raiders up 5 more yards. So that's going to have the kick return team basically with their heels at the 35-yard line, if not maybe even their own 40. So a short kick here could still put the Raiders in some trouble.
Yeah, I tell you, this team is not doing themselves any favors. It's really just error after error here.
Lots of communication going on with the 2 return men back deep for the Wolves. Be aware of another end around, and except they switch positions, so they do kick it to their other return man. A fair catch is caught by the quarterback, Vanderweel. So Vanderweel and Thenis were both back deep, and right before the kick, they switched their positions, trying to make sure they get Vanderweel the ball on the punt return.
Yeah, it's an interesting play there. Really a little bit of improvisation to make sure the ball ends up where they want it. Anyway, it's a fair catch. They end up doing much with it anyway, but they are at a pretty good field position past the 35, although they do not have a lot of time to do anything with it.
Yeah, 22.1 seconds left. The ball is at the 36-yard line of Prairie Ridge, so we'll see how aggressive they want to be here, up 21 going into the half, and Vanderweel will go ahead and just take the snap there, take a knee, and we will go into the halftime break with the Prairie Ridge Wolves leading the Huntley Red Raiders 21-0. We will be back with a little bit of a halftime recap, first half recap here during halftime in just a couple of minutes. You are listening to Huntley High School football on Sports Broadcast Solutions. All right, and we are back here in Huntley, Illinois for halftime between the Prairie Ridge Wolves visiting the Huntley Red Raiders. Really putting the business to them in the first half, going up 21-0, and really doing it all on the ground with their quarterback Luke Vanderweel. This was an issue for the Raiders last week as they struggled to stop the run against Jacobs.
Absolutely, and I think the big theme with this Raider defense as a whole is misdirection. The linebackers, year in and year out, we saw the exact same issue last year when they played, most particularly Jacobs and Prairie Ridge, is the linebackers always struggle with misdirection in the run game. As we've talked about, every single play this Prairie Ridge offense has the same formation, same punch formation, two wing backs, which opens up for the quarterback keeper or run up the middle. And to be quite honest, these Raider linebackers seem to not be able to figure out how to accurately tell where the ball is and to tell how to defend against it. And we saw the same thing against the loss last week against Jacobs. Jacobs runs a similar typical wishbone formation that opens up multiple different run options and involves a lot of quarterback fakes and a lot of quarterback keepers. And the Huntley linebackers always have a hard time adjusting to these formations that you don't really see from any other teams in the conference.
Yeah, allowed Jacobs to take Jacobs running back to take 20 carries, 147 yards and 2 touchdowns last week, and it was also runs of long gains. They had runs of 45 and 23, and then touchdown runs of 31, and then a 99-yarder at the end of the game last week. So unable to defend those counter runs is the Raiders' defense, and once again, they're really struggling. And it's really just the combination of Vanderweel and Petty up the middle. It's not like Couts and Trejo are touching the ball very much. It's just the threat of them is too much for the Raiders' defense to handle. What type of adjustment do they need to make at halftime, or is it just keep doing what you're doing and hope you make a stop? I mean,
clearly there's no way to keep doing what you're doing. Again, it's not like 3 touchdowns letting up is outrageous when you're down 21-0. Obviously,
it just feels a little more insurmountable if you're not able to move the ball.
Absolutely. If it was 21-14, absolutely fine, but it's not. It's 21-0. Pretty bad performance, really, from both sides of the ball. You need to see a big adjustment, I feel like, from the linebackers. And again, this is something that's really hard to overcome just in halftime. This is more of a long-term, really drill it into your head in practice type scenario, which I feel like the Huntley defensive program as a whole probably needs to focus more on, is they need to just teach misdirection. These linebackers are able to make fine plays when they know where the ball is, but they don't really know where the ball is. And they need to really just focus on drilling that home.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were kind of talking about it in the break and, joking a little bit about it, but 3-game losing streak, 3 years in a row for the Raiders, really struggling in this first half. Are we scared of Prairie Ridge? Are we just not on their level? I mean, they are the number 8 team in the country or in the state. What is it?
I think that absolutely could be part of it. And again, it's not like I don't think that the Huntley team is not capable of rising to the occasion. I mean, it's not like we've never beat them before. Again, we were a playoff team last year that actually won a playoff game. Huntley went into round 2 of the playoffs last year. I just think the way the Wolves play, particularly offensively, is so vastly different. And I feel like this is one of the downsides of the Fox Valley Conference, of every team only playing other teams in the conference. With the Prairie Ridge Wolves running an offense that is so different and such a different style and different tactics.
It's not something you see very often.
It's not something you see very often. It's not something that any other team in the conference really does with the level of commitment that Prairie Ridge does, which makes it very hard for Huntley to really figure out what to do and really practice against accurately. And I feel like every time these two teams match up, you really see that at play.
Yeah, so we've really harped on the defensive struggles for the Raiders. Yes, is rightfully so. But you look at the offensive side of the ball, and it gets to a point of your defense. How much more can you ask out of us? We need you guys to try to put up points. We need you to hold the ball a little bit for us.
Yeah, the defense cannot carry all of the weight. You can't have the defense constantly on the field and expect to stop every single play and every single drive. When as an offense you're not putting up any points, losing the game at halftime is on you. Again, giving up 3 touchdowns, it's not great. But if the offense
it's not insurmountable.
it's not insurmountable. Putting up no points in the first half kind of feels like it is.
Yeah, because now you don't score. You pick up what, maybe 1 first down all half?
Yeah,
that 21-0 that you haven't even played bad defense. It's just you've been on the field so much and they have had so many opportunities that 21-0 feels like it is 40-0 and this game's already over.
Yeah, and obviously 21-0 very healthily. It feels like it could blow out the bat, quite frankly. The Huntley, the Red Raider offense really, and I want to know what your take on what this might be. They need to find some kind of hole in this Wolves defense to really exploit. Have you noticed anything like that you think could be Huntley's saving grace?
Well, I think they have to get back to just who they are as a football team on offense. I mean, we mentioned it towards the end of the first half. I think their 2 running backs combined have a total of 2 or 3 carries, maybe an extra touch or 2 in the pass game, and then Dvorak fumbled the 1. It's like, you are a power running team with Bauer and your 2 running backs, and you've ran the ball 2 handfuls amount of times. I understand. Prairie Ridge got the ball, first drive, went down and scored right away, but it's only 7-0 and there's a whole game to go. You can't get away from your game plan right off the bat. And it seems like that's what they have done. And now, down 21-0, how are you convincing yourself to keep running out the clock, control the game and everything when you're feeling pressure to score some points quick?
Right, I absolutely understand. When you're down, especially by multiple possessions, and you have not scored at all, it's really scary and can seem almost foolish to try to rely on your run game. However,
when that's your strength.
Yeah, there's no other way to say it. What you're doing this game is not working. You have put up no points in the first half. You've barely been on the field. You can hardly hold on to the ball. You really need to switch it up. You need to just get back to your roots and at least try it out.
Because there's something about running the ball, playing that hard-nosed football that really just gets your offensive line, your defensive line, it really gets them involved in the game. Then they start pass blocking a little bit better for you, and they're involved, they're mean, they're nasty, they've got a sweat going, and they're ready to go. When you run 3 plays and punt it away on 3 straight drives, your offensive line hasn't gotten a chance to get mad, hasn't gotten a chance to get banged up a little bit and want to bang back. Like, there's no rhythm, there's no fight, there's no nothing on the offense because you haven't sustained anything.
Yeah, just like we were talking about, compared to probably really any other level of this game, in high school, nerves and morale play a huge role. Especially, again, you're at home for your homecoming game, it's a big deal. And a morale boost it feels almost necessary at this point. You've given your guys nothing to really latch onto. You haven't given your offensive line, or really anybody on your offense, a sort of hope, a sort of exploitation that they can really just use to feel like they're back in this game.
So in halftime, that's kind of when these things get handled, especially in game. You know, you can only do so much, but right now, this halftime break, what is Coach Namola? What is Braylon Bauer, some of these team captains, what are they saying to the team right now to try to get momentum and morale up to play the second half?
I think that the big message that they really just need to drill home is the energy and the intensity. Again, this Prairie Ridge is something of a rival. It's the only team in the conference that Huntley sort of consistently loses against. And the team has been playing, visually it's just passing the eyeball test. It feels like the team is just playing like they knew that they weren't going to win. Like they didn't feel like they had a chance going into it.
I agree with that very much.
And that is something that you cannot go in. It doesn't matter how much better you are than the guys you're playing, if you're better at all. If you go into the game thinking that you're going to lose, you are going to lose.
Absolutely, yeah. Body language, 3 straight losses. Those are things that weigh on a team. And, for the Raiders, they got to find some type of juice. I don't know if they have to listen to, I know it worked for the Cubs, and it's a little cringy, but I don't know if you got to put Taylor Swift on in the locker room or something to get people going.
Yeah,
but,
something to get your minds.
That wouldn't work for me. I don't know, but, hey, something to just even loosen up.
Right.
Get them laughing and joking in the locker room. Loosen up a little bit. Now, on the flip side, if you're Prairie Ridge, 21-0, you've played almost a perfect half. How do you keep your foot on the gas?
I feel like that's the thing is you have to just make sure, and it can be a hard thing to do. It feels like even almost just naturally, subconsciously, if you're up by a big lead, if it starts to feel like a blowout, it's very difficult to keep playing at that same level. It's almost hard to take a game as seriously as you did at the start if you're up by multiple scores. And if you're Prairie Ridge and you're trying to come back and win this game for the fourth year in a row, you just cannot let that happen. You need to make sure that you are coming out with the same intensity and that same drive that you were at the beginning.
Well, I don't necessarily think that Prairie Ridge is going anywhere in this game. If nothing else, just based on the previous 3 games. In those 3 games, Huntley has scored a total of 28 points. That is 4 total touchdowns in 3 total games. And they're losing by an average of 20 points. It's already 21-0 at halftime. So based on these numbers, it's uglier than the last 3 on average.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if you're Prairie Ridge, you're really feeling good about this. And then on Huntley, again, that 21-0, it feels almost like 40-0. So we've got about under 5 minutes now already. Wow. With halftime remaining, then you've kind of got that little 2 to 3 minute warm-up period for the Raiders. But the Raiders still in the locker room. A few players starting to come out onto the field now. Most of the starters and key players for the Raiders. But a lot of the team, well, now they're starting to come out. But a little extra time spent in the locker room there. Was it hype? Was it a little bit of a chewing out? Maybe a little bit of both? What was it? Are they going to come out here hyped, Caden?
I feel like they almost need to. I think there's no way to win this game if you can't get your spirits up at least a little bit. I feel like if that wasn't even attempted by the coaches, there's almost no way that particularly offense can come out strong.
And I don't know, Caden. Maybe it's just a feeling just because of how the game is going on, but just watching the Raiders come out of the halftime tunnel, the whole team isn't together. You have no coaches. Everybody's just kind of standing around talking. Like, it's not necessarily a good look. I mean, yes, you've got the band out playing on the field right now, but you don't even come out as a team. You've got stragglers running in. You're not, I don't know, is it just they're a little off tonight? They just didn't come to play?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be one of either. It could be that they just didn't come to play.
And maybe it's just a feeling, just based on the way that everything has gone. But if we're feeling it up here, involved like we are, you know that they have to be having some types of emotions. So with about 6 minutes here before we officially kick off the second half, we're going to go to a commercial break, breathe a little bit here during halftime, and then get the second half underway as we are looking for some points from the Raiders. So they will start warm-ups here in a couple of minutes, and we will be right back on Sports Broadcast Solutions. Alrighty, and we are back. Just under 3 minutes remaining as the Raiders, they've kind of done their static stretching, and now they've got a big huddle going at the 20-yard line here. So a little bit of a hype-up session. Got the team captains talking, and then on the other side of the field, Prairie Ridge doing some stretching from the goal line.
Yeah, and like we said, again, there's no way to feel really high energy in halftime being down by 3 touchdowns. But the Huntley team seems to be really just kind of advertising the fact that they don't have a lot of energy.
Yeah, I mean, here, there's 2 halves of football. You can't go back and change how you played in that first half. So really, you just kind of have to flush it, play with a sense of urgency, play with a bit of an energy that, hey, you get the ball starting the second half. Put some points up on the board, get a stop, and let's go from there.
Right, I feel like even if just open it up with a touchdown, not like that makes it a super close game, but that jump from bringing it down from 3 possession to 2 possession game really does a lot for the Browns. And I feel like that is the main thing that this Huntley team needs right now.
Yeah, really it just comes down to one at a time. You can't get all of this back at once. You get the ball, score some points, start there.
That's the important thing, is you mentioned you can't get it all back at once. You need to play like you know that you can't get it all back at once. Like we said, it's a huge temptation. You're in the second half. You don't have all the time in the world left. You're down by 3 possessions. You haven't put anything on the board. I understand fully the temptation. Just air it out and throw the ball. Simple truth, that has not been working. You're a run-heavy team. You have not been running the ball. You haven't put up points. You need to play with some intensity and a little bit of urgency, but you need to also understand that if something has not been working all game, it's not going to magically start working out.
Well, and another thing is it's been a very passive offensive approach that, yes, you haven't ran the ball at all with your running backs, but every play that you have run has basically been an extension of your running game.
Yes.
You've seen 2 or 3 swing passes to the running backs. You've seen 2 screen passes to the receivers, a couple of slant routes. Your deepest ball was 15 yards down the field. So you're not running the ball, but you're just trying to pick up 3, 4, 5 yards at a time. You're not even stretching the field.
Yeah, we've also seen a couple major scrambling gains by Braylon Bowers so far. That really, again, if they can really just develop that, again, this Prairie Ridge defense, I feel like they're most likely coming into the second half, being up by 3 touchdowns, they're going to expect to play pass defense, right? So if this Huntley team can come out on the first drive, really just catch them off guard, strike hard with their running game, get a touchdown, get a couple points on the board, this certainly turns into a very winnable situation.
Yeah, I mean, here, third quarter's just about to kick off as the Prairie Ridge kickers teeing it up, and the crowd is sitting down. They're absolutely silent. They haven't had anything to cheer about. Go score some points. Even get a good return. Get these fans something to be excited about.
Just a little bit of a jolt, yeah. Pretty lame crowd, to be honest with you. Almost everybody's sitting, even in the student section.
Yeah, and it starts with the student section. That's where the energy has to come from. And there's none of it right now. So needing a spark here to start the second half as we are just about to get underway. With Prairie Ridge kicker just about to kick it off. Sends that one deep. That's Santucci. As Rasavi fields that one at his own 1. Around the right edge, makes a couple of men miss and out to the 25. So there's a little scuffle going out on the field.
That was a boot of a kick. So Rasavi didn't exactly have the best spot to catch it in, but only caught it at the 1.
Yeah, 24-yard return's not bad.
Yeah, made the absolute most of it. Broke about 3 tackles, ran 24 yards. Solid way to start this drive.
Now again, you've been here though. This isn't good field position by any stretch of the means, but a good return to not be worse. But
it's a winnable field.
Yes. So now you've got trips to the left, Bauer in the shotgun with the running back to his right, and that time they do go handoff up the middle. And look at that, Caden, a gain of 6 with a run up the middle. That was Dvorak.
Almost just like we said, you got to catch them off guard, strike hard, off to a decent start.
Hard count as Bauer Looks to the sideline. They like to move fast. They like to try to catch the defense off guard. So a little bit of shifting around here. Versavi in the slot to the short side right, motions right to left. Bauer fakes the handoff there, keeps it up the middle, makes one man miss, spins up the middle across the 40, and a first down. So 2 plays, 2 runs up the middle, and a first down.
Excellent play all around. Textbook blocking by the O-line gave the quarterback plenty of room, span, broke a couple of tackles, able to pick up the first down, no issue.
Double twin set here. Hotchmuth and Versavi to the right, short side. Connor, Wade, and Jordan Aruche to the top left. Dvorak still the running back to Bauer's left. Wade motions behind Bauer. Bauer flips it out to the left. That is Aruche, and a good gain of 6 on first down.
Really chugging along here. This is the sort of momentum and energy we have not seen from this Raider offense so far. The question is, are they going to be able to keep it up to turn this in for a touchdown?
And right back to the line is the Raiders offense. Bauer hard count again with trips to his right. That's Wade, Versavi, and Hotchmuth. Inside 2 out, wide side of the field. Bauer shotgun snap, hands it up the middle to Dvorak, makes one man miss, fights forward. Gonna depend on the spot just to about the 50. Brings up 3rd and 1 now.
Yeah, forward progress started right about the first down line.
Much more
Position
manageable.
so far.
Yes, much more manageable. Midfield. Still spreading it out, still going quick is the Raiders offense. Bauer shotgun and a encroachment on the defensive line.
Major
That
offside.
was Tony Bratana jumping and knocking the center over on his bottom.
Yeah, that was pretty much just a full-on bull rush there by the nose tackle.
But the encroachment gets a 5-yard penalty for the Raiders offense and a first down. So starting to move the ball a little bit to open up this half. 10-20 remaining in the third quarter, excuse me. Trips again on this 1st and 10 from the 45 of Prairie Ridge. Bauer takes the snap, drops back, looks right. Under pressure, dancing around up the middle in the pocket. Still moving around. Now he's got room on the right side. Stiff arm and taken down at the 40, and there is a flag on the play. Probably going to be a hold on the Raiders' offensive line.
Most likely, yeah, which is a shame because led to a very solid game from Braylon Bowers. There are a few flags. We're going to have to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, some good improvisation there from the quarterback Bauer to maneuver around the pocket, step up, and eventually tuck it and run, but all for naught. As Huntley is being backed up because of a hold. Oh, offsetting penalties, as there was also a face mask by the Wolves defense. So maybe a bullet dodge there for the Raiders,
Yeah,
a little bit there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Replay the 1st and 10
A little bit
from
of luck,
the
but
45-yard line now. 10 minutes here in the second quarter remaining. Trips to the right. Raiders offense trying to get something cooking. Wade motions from right to left. Twin sets. Bauer shotgun looks that way to the left. Now right. Rolls out. Flips one a little high,
Right
but through the hands of Zach Versavi and incomplete.
yeah, I mean, obviously that was overthrown on Braylon Bowers' part. Not quite accurate enough. Opportunity for a great catch by Versavi. He was able to make the leap for it, just not able to close his hands quite quick enough.
Yeah, one of those plays that Bauer probably goes to himself, hey, Versavi, that's my bad, but also one that Versavi probably thinks he should have came down with. So
Yeah, probably not great feelings on either side, but they're going to have to move on.
now 2nd and 10, Gavin Havens in the backfield. 2 receivers to each side of Bauer in the shotgun. Rolls right. Looking to pass. Flips one out to the right sideline. Nothing really doing there for Aruche, so kind of just threw that one away. Good decision. Don't want to force that one on the outside and have the defender undercut you and take it back for a touchdown.
Absolutely, yeah.
But,
So we never need to take the risk.
however, that does bring up a 3rd and 10. And Caden, why have we ran 3 straight passes? Where are the running plays?
Yeah, you'd think they'd be able to take a hit, right?
You just had 3 successful runs up the middle.
Yeah, first couple sets of downs, they were able to get first downs no problem with solid run game.
And now you're looking at a 3rd and 10.
Go
They
figure.
ran 3 plays, 1 was called back. And now they do that
Fake
fake jet
fake
motion
jet.
again, and Bauer powers his way up the middle, picks up 6 yards. It's like, why do you have to wait until 3rd and long to do that and force yourself into 4th and 4?
Yeah, not a great position Could have been easy, those types of plays with Braylon Bauer. Obviously, he's able to outmaneuver most of this defense, but they are going to go for it on the 4th down here.
Bauer in the shotgun, trips to his right. Havens, the running back, to his right now. Wade motions again, back to the left side. Bauer hard count again, trying to pick up another free first down. They got the defensive line of Prairie Ridge to jump once. This time, really letting the clock wind down. 3 on the play clock. 1.
They need to snap immediately or...
And a timeout from Huntley. So trying to get the Prairie Ridge defensive line to jump off sides. Now, maybe they want to think about it. Maybe going to punt it away. I think a punt's the wrong decision here.
Me too, absolutely here. I think you got to be bold here. This is a major opportunity.
Here, you have not had any sort of momentum. You're finally starting to smell a little something cooking here on this offensive drive.
I don't think you can throw it away.
Not across the 40-yard line. Like, it's also kind of one of those things, if you're Nate Mola, I trust my defense. Yes, maybe they haven't played the best, but if we don't pick this up, I still trust them to make a stop. That's really, you like that.
I feel like from a pure morale standpoint, a punt here shows pure distrust on both sides of the ball. I don't trust my offense to pick up these couple yards. I don't trust my defense to stop them at this midfield position. I feel like there's not much upside to it, frankly.
Couldn't agree more, and they are going to go for it. 4 wide receivers, Bauer in the shotgun. Big play here. Stop back, rolls out right, pressure, steps away, is hit as he throws. Wide of the receiver and incomplete.
Yeah,
Intended for Rasavi.
Yeah, more just pure inaccuracy there. He was put under some pretty extreme pressure.
Hit as he threw.
Yeah, not fully able to escape it.
But still, I'm not understanding the almost 70 to 30% on the pass to run plays here, partner.
Yeah, almost all of their success has been in the run game, and they refuse to adjust. I feel like we saw a similar situation in last year's offense, just in reverse. We would see games where they ran the ball almost every play, really got nothing shaken, and then they would try to throw a couple deep passes. It would work out, but they refused to switch their game plan. I feel like we're seeing the exact reverse of it this year.
So now that brings the Prairie Ridge offense back out. And there it is, the quarterback keeper right off the bat.
He's going to be taken down
and
just past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, then a little flip speed option there on that first down play. The 5'8" quarterback, Luke Vanderweel. Now almost 4 minutes have gone by in this third quarter, 8:20 remaining. Vanderweel on a 2nd and 8, under center. 2 wingbacks, a fullback. As that's Trejo motions, handoff up the middle to Petty. Short gain, but it's going to bring up a manageable 3rd and 4. 3rd and 4, ball on the 45-yard line of Prairie Ridge.
Seeing a little bit of change
comes back
movement on
in.
the defensive side of the ball here. A little bit of miscommunication, perhaps.
Really needing a stop if you're the Raiders defense to try to keep that momentum in. Here, we mentioned the fans. We should not be able to hear Prairie Ridge's fan section from this side of the field on a 3rd and 4. Our crowd's silent. But
yeah, I mean, you can't hear a peep from our crowd section, frankly. This entire game, nonstop, cheering, yelling, screaming, chants from the Prairie Ridge side. Really says something about the momentum.
Handoff up the middle to Petty. Picks up only 2, so now... Well, they gave him 3, so now 4th and 1 again. So it's decision time, this time on the other side of the 50, really looking for a stop. It's going to be a 4th and a long one.
My personal opinion, Wolves are probably just going to make the same decision they've made at every other choice this game so far. 4th and 1, bunch formation, run it right up the middle. Huntley is going to have to put all the weight they can up front to just try to stuff it and make it dead in the water.
Couts and Trejo, the fullbacks, with Petty behind the quarterback, Vanderweel. Couts motions right, lead block, and Vanderweel through the hole, down on the right sideline. 1 man to beat, and he is dragged down by the linebacker, or actually the defensive back, Ari Feebig, inside the 10-yard line as Vanderweel broke open on the right side.
Yeah, frankly, terrible judgment from the Huntley defense here. broke off the Wolves probably broke off a little bit more of an ambitious play than the Raiders were expecting on a 4th and 1.
Well,
Clearly, that worked out in their favor.
It's the same thing, though, partner. Every time that they need a play, they need yards, and they go to their one play. They motion one of those wingbacks around. They take their quarterback and they run him right off guard, right off tackle, and they pick up those yards. So now inside the 5, Vanderweel keeps this one. Speed option, flip, and there's Trejo wide open as he walks into the end zone, making this one a 27-0 lead for the Wolves with the PAT to come.
Yeah, I don't know what's going through the linebackers' minds here, but they just have not been able to figure out the formula.
And that was supposed to be Ari Feebig. When you're a corner and you've got the pitch guy, you're the last outside man. If the quarterback's going to take that one in himself, that's not your guy. You have to play your role. He went for the quarterback, Feebig did. The pitch guy was wide open. Trejo walks it in. Field goal up and good, 28-0 now.
That's right. It's a mistake you see all too often, particularly on the defensive side of the ball as well, sometimes on the offensive line, of guys really just trying to be a hero, of guys looking for where they think the play is happening and ignoring their job to try to make the big play themselves. As you can see, it almost always never works out.
And that was the biggest thing that we said. What is the key to beating all of these fakes, these options, and these counters? Play your man, play your role, and trust that everyone else on your team will do that.
And that's the big point, is if you're not playing your role, if you're trying to be a hero, trying to make a big play, more than anything, it shows distrust in your teammates. It shows distrust in the guy lining up next to you. To me, it says, I don't think that you're good enough to do your job, and I think I'm going to be able to take it over for you. And really, one, it tends to mess up the play on the defense, and it really just hurts the team chemistry.
In here, this is just one of those games that is burning a little extra hot right now for the Raiders, after especially losing on the road to Jacobs last week. And now you're coming in here on your home field and getting shellacked by, don't get me wrong, a good Prairie Ridge team.
Absolutely.
But not the showing that you were looking for, as we got another kickoff a little bit shorter here as Rasavi fields this one at the 9 this time and runs straight up the middle.
That's excellent.
No dancing around, across the 30 to the 34-yard line. So the best starting field position now for the Raiders that they've had all game.
And really, that shows fantastic blocking from the receiving team for the Raiders so far. Like you said, no dancing around needed by Rasavi there. Really just a straight hold that he was able to pound through, get to an excellent position.
Yeah, wasn't really looking for something to kind of develop there like he had been. This time it was, okay, there's a little bit of daylight here. I'm just going to hit it and get as much as I can.
Worked out perfectly.
Yep, exactly. So now Raiders offense comes out, trips to the wide side left. Bauer in the shotgun. Hockmuth, the only receiver to the
Low
right.
snap there, almost dropped.
Fake the handoff to the running back. Dvorak up the middle. Bauer on the keeper picks up 1. Short gain on first time, maybe 2. They gave him 2.
Yeah, just about.
As we tick under 6 minutes now remaining in the third quarter. So really flying through here, and we're going to have an encroachment on the defense. So a free 5 yards there for Huntley.
Yeah, real lack of discipline has been showing in the second half so far for the Wolves defense. This is obviously the most obvious one, was the nose tackle just about bull rush from the center.
Well, and that kind of comes back to those points that we were making at halftime. Those are the mental mistakes that you can't be taking your foot off the gas pedal if you're Prairie Ridge. And then if you're Huntley, you picked up a first down on an encroachment. Now you're in a manageable 2nd and 4. You have to take advantage of these mistakes.
Right, the Wolves didn't see too many of these penalties in the first half, so it really seems to show a sense of leniency on their part.
Twins to either side. The slot receivers were in tight. Bauer around the right edge picks up the first down across the 45-yard line. So they do make them pay on the encroachment and pick up a first down.
Yeah, really taking full advantage of the position they were given through the penalty right there.
Now we have an injury as Bauer was able to get up and limp away from the tackle, but we do have an injured Prairie Ridge Wolf on the Huntley sideline. So while they tend to him, we will try to get you a name, and we will be right back after this quick commercial break on Sports Broadcast Solutions. Alrighty, and we are back. Quick and easy to get off the field there, as the injured player was Giovanni Creator, their linebackers. He's slowly walking off the field.
Yeah, thankfully injury does not seem too severe. It should be fine.
Look like maybe holding his right hip or something. You don't want to elaborate too much on an injury that you don't know, but being able to walk off the field under his own power is a promising sign.
Yeah,
So
always good.
Raiders offense will take over again here at the 46-yard line. Back into play with trips to the left of Bauer to the wide side. He hands the ball off. No, fakes the handoff. And a little bubble screen to Risavi. A missed block there by the receiver, Aruche. Could have really sprung Risavi, but he still picks up a gain of 6.
Yeah, not the best executed play with that missed block. However, a very solid fake handoff by Braylon. Obviously, even fooled us up here in the booth, and it worked out.
Trips to the right now, wide side of Bauer in the shotgun. This time they do give to Dvorak, trying to get around the right edge, but that one is snuffed out in a great play by Andrew Copen, the outside linebacker.
Yeah, really able to disengage from that offensive line block and take down the play, start it before it can really turn into anything big.
Yeah, really blew up the blocking on that one to get into the backfield. Bauer goes hard count here on this 3rd and 7. Ball on the 49-yard line, 4.5 remaining in the third. Trips to the left. Bauer takes the shotgun snap, looks that way, still holding, pressure coming, steps up in the pocket and down he goes. A sack on 3rd down. Brings up only a loss of about 1, maybe even half a yard. So,
yeah,
still decision time, but here comes the punt.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there. I mean, I don't know if Braylon Bauer was waiting for Chinese New Year or what, but he really had plenty of time. His O-line was blocking textbook, and he just really, I suppose, didn't see anything open. And
yeah, still though, one of those things that you have to have that clock in your head. Even if there's nobody open, you have to find a way to get rid of that ball. So
can't take too many hits.
Nope. 4th and 8 brings up a punt with 3 minutes and 40 seconds now in the third quarter. Toes on the 35-yard line. A decent kick is fielded and immediately tackled down at the 21-yard line. So that is where Logan Theens and the Prairie Ridge offense will take back over. Already up 28-0. It feels like if 28 wasn't already insurmountable, another touchdown here would essentially put an end to this one.
That's right.
There you go. That's the loudest a fan has gotten all evening, as we heard him to tell him to hit somebody. And you know, we need more of that.
Yeah.
It's time to smack back a little bit. You've been smacked in the mouth all night if you're the Raiders. It's time to smack back a little bit.
Could say something about the fans if the loudest person in the whole crowd is a 45-year-old instead of a 16-year-old. But
very much agree there on Vanderweel after the fake keeps it. Short gain on 1st down, maybe got a yard. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You're here at home. Your team needs you, and the student section's quiet. It's just not what you want to see.
It's a sad state of affairs, really. This is just about the dullest I've ever seen our student section here at Huntley.
About the only credit I'll give, and hoping that I'm not jinxing anything, but at least people are staying. They're sticking around. Prairie Ridge really starting to work the clock now as they stayed in the huddle until 8 seconds left on the game clock. Now 3-2, and better get the snap off, and they do. Vanderweel hands it off the middle, and that was Petty again. Short gain brings up 3rd down from the 25-yard line now.
Yeah, we're
3rd and 6.
So we're starting to see a little bit more of a consistency from this Raider defensive stars as far as not necessarily recognizing misdirection, but at least just stopping and plugging up the clear run up the middle place.
This is one of the better situations the Raiders defense has found themselves in all game long, so needing one more stop here. 2 fullbacks behind the quarterback, Vanderweel. He fakes the handoff, play action, steps up in the pocket. He's going to take off across the 30, across the 40,
Midfield.
across the 50, and down to the Raiders' 40.
Absolutely monster play from the quarterback there.
Lots of running room there for the quarterback, Vanderweel. He took one look downfield, noticed nobody was open, tucked it, and picked up a big gain for a first down.
Yeah, I suppose you can chalk most of that up to excellent blocking, not just by the O-line, but also by the receivers from the Wolves to really give them that space even that deep in the field.
Well, it's one of those things when you're running cover zero, Caden. You're bringing everybody on a blitz, and then you're covered man-to-man. So when you got your defense running back and everybody else running forward, it leaves room. As Vanderweel this time steps back again and is going to fire. Wide receiver not looking, and there's pass interference that is not going to be called. The receiver for the Wolves, not looking at the ball, grabs the defensive back and no call. There, he was looking for the interception.
That's offensive pass interference if I've ever seen it.
And you could tell the defensive back,
Furious.
yeah, not happy with that one. Trying to get you a name.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest,
Colin Maston, not happy.
not happy at all. Maybe throughout this entire game. That's the
Biggest
best example of biggest miscall, absolutely, but also just the most we've seen the quarterback for Prairie Ridge air it out.
Yeah.
Almost turned into a disaster for him, but they didn't get a pretty obvious call.
Two fullbacks, and they're going to go ahead and keep this one on the ground. Vanderweel around that right edge again. Short gain, probably of about 2. But man, that's one of those that you needed a spark if you're the Raiders, and it was there.
We keep talking about it, but again, that is a huge energy killer. That is just like you said, that is ignition for you. That's huge energy right there.
On this 3rd and 8, big Ryan Wable comes into the game to replace Benjamin Cohen. So.
And I tell you what, at 3rd and 8, if you just want to stop the run, make sure they cannot pick up a couple more yards to get into a better position, Ryan Wable is the guy you want up front.
When you have to watch out for Vanderweel on the keepers, he's got 2 wings to either side with Petty in the backfield. This time he's going around left. Speed option, flips it to Petty. He is going to get across the 35-yard line, but not enough for a first down. Brings up 4th and 4. Decision time. I think you go for it if you're Prairie Ridge. No?
I do too.
I mean,
The
you've
reason
had
not to-
success.
Again, even though you could say this Raider defense has gotten a little more consistent with blocking the run, but it's still not like they're consistently getting plays to the point of where, 4 yards is still not that much yardage from what we've been seeing from this Wolves offense.
Sure, comparatively, but, again, if you're the Wolves, 4th and 4, and you're already across the 35. Even if you don't get this,
It's not like
you
you're
trust your defense.
It's not like you're giving up excellent field position.
Right. So now, tight formation, but we're going to have a timeout from Prairie Ridge, I believe, before this 4th down. They really like to go to that timeout, see how the defense comes out, see what look they're in, call that timeout, make sure they have the right play for this.
Yeah, they
4th
don't
down.
seem to, and obviously you could say it doesn't matter as much when they're up 4 touchdowns going into the 4th quarter, but even from the beginning, it just doesn't seem like they've placed too much value on timeouts.
Yeah. Well, when you're up 28-0, you don't necessarily need it when. Here, you need your timeouts at some of the biggest points in the game. If picking up a 4th and 4 inside your 35-yard line to eventually possibly make this a 5-score game, that's a very important part of the game for them.
Pretty
So,
big.
not a bad decision here to use a timeout, make sure that they get the right play. But if you're Huntley, this is almost a must-stop.
Yeah.
Because what is it, Caden? I always forget. Is it 28 or is it 35 that once you get down by that much, the clock just starts running?
I believe 30.
35, yeah.
in high
So,
school.
really needing a stop here if you're the Raiders to at least get the ball back and try to avoid the running clock situation. As there's only 13 and a half seconds in the 3rd quarter. So already trying to come back here, needing a stop. Prairie Ridge comes out in their bunch formation again, fullback behind. That's Couts in motion. A pass, and it's picked
Intercepted!
by Ari Feebig. Vanderweel looking deep, intended for one of those number 3s.
Biggest
but a big
Raiders
interception.
defensive play so far.
Ari Feebig. And honestly, I think we got away with one there. I think they kind of gave us one. Ari Feebig definitely gave a little push. But hey,
Most definitely. But
you take what you can get. Maybe a little bit of a gimme back.
Could have been they realized how much they messed up on the offensive pass interference call. Figure, why not give them this one?
But hey, there was no laundry on the field, and the Raiders take over at their own 7-yard line. So hopefully something to get this offense going, as only 8 seconds remain here in the third quarter. Bauer in the shotgun. No running back, steps up to the right, fires an incomplete, dropped by Connor Wade. Not the best pass, a little behind the intended receiver on that one. Brings up 2nd and 10. Again, no partner, there's no running. I understand you're down 28-0, but when you become so one-dimensional, you're not going to find yourself in successful situations.
Right, as we say, most of the success that we have seen from this offense, even though all-around success has been limited, most of the success that we see is from the running game that they just refuse to continue to explore.
4 seconds remain in the third quarter. Bauer in the shotgun, no running backs with him. Takes the snap and a direct quarterback sneak up the middle. He's got some room around the right edge. Breaks one tackle, makes another man missing out to the 30-yard line. So a great run of about 25 yards there for Bauer on the first down to give him some room.
Yeah, can't ask for more. That's just about as successful as you can ask for from the quarterback run.
Huge play there. You're already backed up inside your own 10. You cannot afford to have to punt from your own end zone. And that will bring us to the end of the third quarter. So now, here, Huntley, they've definitely got their work cut out for them. But at this point, maybe even Caden, you take what you can get, try to find something to build off of for next week.
Make it at very least respectable is probably what's going through the heads of most of these Huntley players.
I mean, here, you look ahead, you've got Hampshire. Not one of the better teams in the conference. Only 1-2 right now. We're not sure what they're doing here in their game tonight, but you can't afford to lose 3 in a row.
Absolutely not.
Use this as a building process. Understand, okay, we did not play our best football, but we still have 12 minutes to make plays and to show these coaches that you deserve to play next week. Because there are hungry people that want to play.
Absolutely. At this point, no matter how optimistic you are, that is just about the best you can do.
As the offense takes over at the 30-yard line, going right to left now. Bauer in the shotgun. Wade motions left to right. Bauer flips it out that way. And that is Arucci on the catch. I take that back. That was not Arucci. That was Wyatt Fleck, number 7 on the street pass. Gain of 4 brings up 2nd and 6 now. Still very pass heavy and not throwing the ball down the field. I feel like you can get 5 yards on a run play as you would on a screen, but here they go again. Rolled out right, Bauer not finding anyone open, dancing around in the pocket, finally collapsing, goes down. Gets back to about the line of scrimmage, maybe lost a couple inches.
To be honest, it's almost a little strange how they just... And again, part of that is just the mentality of being down for touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I absolutely get that. However, it's just an all-around refusal to adopt the run game.
Yeah, and I mean, here again, we've mentioned it, down 28-0, you do become one-dimensional, and you can only do so much, but... you can only do so much if you're on offense now. Bauer drops back again, looks left, holding onto the ball, fires a little bit high, but caught by Hockmuth.
Excellent
across the 50.
Had to reach for it a little bit.
Good execution on the in-cutting route there to Hockmuth for the first down across the 50. Bauer in the shotgun, looks right, fires quickly, and a little bit behind the receiver, but a good adjustment to catch that ball and take it to the 41-yard line is Wyatt Fleck.
Yeah, starting to see a little bit more consistency in this just a short check down pass game from Huntley.
Traders moving quick again, trips to the left of Bauer. Hard count, changing the play. The Wolves in cover one man with each defensive back lined up on a receiver. Bauer, they go handoff up the middle, and a big hole there, as that's Gavin Havens.
That was
up
close
the
to the
middle
game.
for
A
15
potential
yards.
touchdown run from Gavin. Broke multiple tackles. O-line created a very nice hole for him. Just barely taken down. Right around the 29-yard.
And it's one of those things, again, partner, it's like, why are you throwing screen passes for 5 yards when you can rip off 10 to 15-yard runs?
Right, and they break
It's
off.
been there
When
tonight.
they run the ball, they break off plays like that somewhat consistently, and they just refuse to.
Like, they haven't tried it enough to know it doesn't work. Bauer
Exactly.
again, dropping back to pass. He's got a man open. Oh, a little high, but a good catch by Wyatt Fleck. That's the second
Wide
good
open Wyatt
adjustment
Fleck
there.
was able to call that one in for a solid.
Touchdown.
Prairie Ridge in a cover 2 zone, so 2 high safeties. Their corners are playing in the flats. So, little quick route down the sideline at that about 8 yards. It didn't have the safety enough time to get over.
No.
So, found that dead zone.
Yeah, really able to abuse the defensive situation.
Timeout.
For Prairie.
Prairie Ridge.
Prairie Ridge calls a timeout with 9:41 remaining here in this game. The ball at the 12-yard line for Huntley, finally knocking on the door of trying to score some points. I think you have to try to keep the ball on the ground here. I've liked
Yeah,
what
that
you've
seems-
gotten when Braylon Bauer has just taken Pike and gone straight up the middle.
Those are
He's gotten some running lanes.
without a doubt the best, most consistent plays we have been just the straight up quarterback sneaks by Brother Bauer. I don't think there's any reason to really deviate from that in this potential touchdown.
Havens and Dvorak have found room. They're taking the tight end Grant Tucker off the field right now, as well as Connor Wade. The running back will be Havens. Got 4 wide receivers. Hockmuth and Van de Voorde to the left of Bauer. Oh, Brasavi to the left as well in the trips. Bauer looks that way, fires that way. An incomplete intended for Van de Voorde.
Yeah, Van de Voorde on a pretty tight man coverage there,
Yeah,
unable
very
to
good
make the grab.
coverage. No room there for that ball. It was a little high. Didn't want to try to force that one and have it be intercepted. Raiders come back out in trips. Same 3 to the left of the wide side. Bauer shotgun. They were going handoff to Havens up the middle, but the play is blown dead due to a false start on the Raiders. So that's going to back them up to a 2nd and 15. Again, yards are hard enough to come by.
Yeah,
Can't give them
don't
up.
need to shoot yourself in the foot like that. It
9:38.
has not been a huge problem in this game so far, but here and there the lack of discipline does start to shine.
So now with the ball at the 17-yard line. Bauer trips again, hard count for the play on the sideline. Needing to find a way to move the ball and get it into the end zone. Something for this offense to build off of. And
That's
it's going to be another false start.
Somewhat
as
egregious false start there.
Yeah.
Just about every wide receiver jumping before the
half
snap.
the offense did not know the count, as the offensive line didn't move, and all the skill positions, even the quarterback moved. So, little something lost there in transition.
Yeah,
in
just
translation.
pure lack of communication there. That's the again type of thing you just cannot afford to do.
No, and that's now 2 straight false start penalties after what has been a productive drive. for
Yeah,
them.
one of those productive drives of the game, all of a sudden at 2 and 20 for a pure lack of discipline.
Low snap. Bauer's going to fire it to
Really
the end
airing it out
zone.
there.
He's got Van de Voorde, and it's incomplete, knocked away. A good throw, just a better play by the defensive back.
Yeah, excellent pass breakup there. Really.
That one broken up by Nicholas Scones. Nice play by the defensive back there. Van de Voorde in the slot, kind of running a little fade route to the back corner of the end zone. Had the chance. Good football all around, knocks that one away. Go twins to either side of Bauer. Shotgun snap, looks left, fires that way. And that one is caught by Van de Voorde this time. Gets a little shifty and down to the 9-yard line. So
Yeah, pretty
about back to the original line.
pretty short
scrimmage.
completion, but solid play after the catch there. Able to just about break a tackle. Decent
Fourth
juke
down.
moves on display, but did not get nearly enough yards to get to the first down.
Nope. So now the Raiders looking at a 4th and 9. You're at the 11-yard line. This was the best field position, best opportunity they've had to score all game long. And now really staring down the barrel.
Yeah, frankly just pissed it away purely from a lack of discipline off those consecutive false starts.
Shotgun looks left, fires that way. Fade to the end zone. An incomplete. 2 defenders there intended for Huntley. Falls incomplete.
Once again, just a little bit too high of a pass from Braylon Bowers.
Now, Raiders turn it over on downs. You want to give your big receiver a chance to go up there and catch it, but you still gotta put it out there. Hockmuth, 6'4". He's big, but you had to be about 6'9" to catch that one.
Yeah. Nothing you can ask of your average high school student there.
Some frustration now starting to come from the Raiders sideline. It might be a coach or someone above us here in the booth, but starting to get rowdy here. Frustration's growing with 8 minutes and 49 seconds left in this game. And a fumbled snap there by Vanderweel, but I do believe he was able to fall on it. Ball at the 10-yard line. Loss of 1 yard. Man, those were one of those that you really wanted if you were the Raiders defensive line.
Really, even if the game's lost at this point, really just an excellent way to get a little bit of steam back if nothing else.
Fans, Brooke Ferrand, if you're in attendance, please head to the concession stand. Brooke Ferrand, please head to the concession stand.
And ticking down here in the fourth quarter. 10 on the play clock for the Wolves. Vanderweel under center, taking his time. Trejo motions, a handoff up the middle, and a big scrum nets a couple of yards.
Once again, Brooke Ferrand, if you're in attendance at the moment, please head to the concession stand to retrieve your lost
big
wallet.
mush of bodies there.
Yeah, not too much going on there. Decent way to just plug the run by the Huntley defense.
Now 3rd and 7. Fourth quarter, under 7:45 remaining. Raiders defense looking for something to build off of. They've actually played a decent second half, only have allowed 7 points, but hey, they can only do what they
for
can
this
do.
offensive performance.
Agreed. They go handoff to Couts. They motion Trejo from one side and then brought Couts back the other, trying to get a little eye candy going there. Raiders stuffed it out. 4th and 6 brings in the punting unit. So a good stop there for the Raiders.
Yeah, that was a better job of stopping the misdirection than we've seen throughout pretty much all the game for the defense here. Starting to pick up on it at least a little bit. Maybe sort of spark that they can develop when playing a team like this that relies on misdirection.
I mean, here, it's never comforting or anything like that to talk about moral victories. But you have to try to look for some type of positive. And, that was a good drive. And a short angled punt goes out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. So now the Raiders offense is going to have good field position to set up.
Yeah, some of the best field position they've had yet.
Try to get some points on the board. 6:42 left. You got plenty of time. Run your offense. Run the ball.
Right.
Do what you're going to do next week.
Right.
And
Might as well practice.
Try that. Run your plays
at this point,
against not your own defense.
At this point in the game, if you're realistic at all as a Huntley coach here, there's no point in trying to just air it out, throw touchdown pass after touchdown pass, trying to get another one. Just try to really just develop the skills that you think are going to be useful for your team in the future. Almost treat it as a bit of a practice.
Yeah, spread it out again here, trips to the right. Bauer takes the snap, looks left, he's got a man wide open along the sideline. Decides to stay in bounds and fight through some contact for a couple extra yards. The ball was stripped out of the hands of the receiver, Aruche, but rolled down at the 20-yard line before.
Yeah, that was a solid way to break away from the coverage on Aruche's part there. Run a decent curl route. It would have snagged a short completion.
Yeah, short little comebacker there to the outside. Could have went out of bounds at about the 24.
Probably better play.
Decided to juke inside and pick up a couple extra yards. No, I like it. Fight for everything as they go handoff this time up the middle to Dvorak. Picks up a solid 3 yards.
Gain of 4.
Gain of 4 even. 2nd and 6
now. Number 44, Jace Prairie.
So we tick under 6 here in the 4th. Trips to the right. Huntley not wanting to be shut out. Bauer, snap, left, same play. Aruche there, and a nice catch to kind of take that one away.
Excellent grab by Jordan.
That's it for a regular first down.
I mean, that was
catch.
somewhat close to an interception. The defensive back had his hand right up there. At the very least, looked to slide it away. Jordan Ruche really just able to snatch it right out of his hands.
Yeah, lots of out-breaking routes. You have to be careful if they start sitting on that. You don't want to see that one go 90 yards the other way. Bauer shotgun trips to the right. Dvorak, the running back, they hand it to him. Jukes in the hole, fights forward, and falls to this 2-yard.
Yeah, able to fight through a couple of defenders there, able to pick up a decent yardage. Pretty close to touchdown.
Finally knocking on the door here, 2nd and 2. Bauer, handoff, Dvorak, stuffed. Able to pick up 1 yard.
Not much shaking there.
Now 3rd and 1. Can't be easy, partner. Can't be easy. Bauer shotgun again. Trips to the right. I wouldn't be thinking pass. Dvorak motions right to left behind Bauer as a lead blocker, and that is snuffed out. What a great play by the linebacker, Jace Craning, to stop a touchdown.
Yeah, pure keeper by Bauer there. Really just tried to run it outside the tackle, and Wolves defense was just ready for it.
As Dvorak limps off the field and Havens in to replace him. Yeah, they motioned Dvorak from the right of Bauer to the left and then brought him in as a lead blocker. But Bauer unable to get to the edge. So now Havens in as the running back on 4th and 1 from the 1. Bauer drops back, passes, fires, end zone, and it is caught! What a catch by Wyatt Fleck for the touchdown! Wyatt Fleck has made 3 phenomenal catches here in this 4th quarter. That one for 6.
And I gotta be honest with you, whenever I see somebody at the 4th and 1 knocking on the door of a touchdown, and I see the quarterback in a shotgun formation, it always makes me roll my eyes just a little bit. Never really seen the point
a little bit.
Yeah, he was able to rely on his receivers to get it done, even if it's not the play I would have drawn up, still worked out.
Here, that was an out route to the wide side of the field with about a yard of separation.
Yeah,
very dangerous pass,
but worked out for him.
It worked out. The kick is up, and it is good. So the Raiders able to get points on the board here in this 4th quarter. With 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this ball game, we will be right back after this quick commercial break on Sports Broadcast Solutions. All right, and after the Huntley touchdown, it is now 28-7 with 4 minutes and 21 seconds remaining here in this game. Again, you don't love the moral victories, but you like to see points put up on the board.
Yeah, even if you want to call that maybe a bit of a pity touchdown, if you want to be a bit cynical about it, it's still always better to have points on the board than not.
Onside kick here from the Raiders, and it goes out of bounds, so that is going to be a penalty, but anytime an onside kick is not just directly fielded by the up man, and there's a little bit of excitement, I would say it's a successful onside kick. Considering,
yeah, get closer than most, that's for sure.
Considering the success rate of those. Speaking of, what do you think about the NFL's kickoff rules now?
I kind of hate them, I'm not going to lie.
See,
I think it, really devalues onside kicks. It's not like onside kicks were plentiful to begin with.
But you to have to come out and be like, hey, we're kicking it, we're onsiding.
Exactly. You have to. I love almost nothing more in football than a successful onside kick. And even though it was rare before, it's virtually impossible.
I think they happen maybe once or twice a year. But, okay.
Now I don't see how it could happen at all.
Right. So, onside kicks aside, as the Wolves offense takes over at the 49-yard line, Vanderweel under center, with the other kickoffs and the handoff to Petty up the middle, short gain, How do you feel about having to wait until they catch it? There's that only 20 yards of landing zone.
Yeah, I don't love it. I think it makes kicks much more uniform. It really devalues touchbacks and whatnot. And also, frankly, I think it's a little silly to just kind of have the two teams lined up, kind of just staring at each other like jackasses until somebody actually catches the ball.
Now here, you look at the numbers. Last year, up to about this point, you've already doubled the amount of kick returns. Through 2 or 3 weeks, you had 50. Last year, it's up to over 100 this year.
Right, that's clearly the goal.
Percentage of returns has gone up. So, that's their goal.
They want
Does it work? Maybe, maybe not.
They want to end touchbacks as much as possible. They want to just. It seems like just an attempt to maybe interject a little bit more action into it.
As Prairie Ridge takes a timeout with 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in the fourth quarter, up 21 points on a 2nd and 8. Really wanting to think about this. And hey, you know what?
Not sure
you
what
have to
there's to think
respect
about.
it. This is only week 3. Just like we're saying from the Raiders' perspective, use this time to continue to work on things. Well, you say the same for the Wolves.
Two sides of the same coin, right? When the game is pretty much out of reach by now, it's an opportunity for both teams to almost treat it like a practice.
You also have a player in their huddle right now tying his shoe, so possible equipment malfunction timeouts. So, nonetheless, that has been solved, and the offense comes back out to the 48-yard line. Stay tuned after the game. We'll wrap it up for just a few minutes here. And then we will be on to Hampshire next week for the Raiders. As Vanderweel fakes the handoff up the middle, dodges around, breaks a couple of tackles, and he's loose down the left sideline. And he is
inside the 10, and that is a
caught.
Touchdown for the Wolves.
Touchdown Vanderweel. A late touchdown, 3:25 remaining. This kind of happened in that Jacobs game last week, 99 yards in the last drive of the game.
Yeah. Just add Huntley defense, lapse in judgment or whatever you want to call it, and just letting a huge running play break through for a touchdown.
Yeah, it's like just as you've started to see some success stopping the run, there they go, and they break one off, and Huntley finds themselves down 28 points again. Prairie Ridge really making sure to stay above that average of 20 points per win.
Everything they can to keep those numbers up.
We do have actually an injured Raider on the field. Limping off is number 51, Jonas Owens, a junior linebacker. Walking off under his own power, though, so that's at least a positive sign. And that's another key thing here, partner. Let's make sure nobody gets hurt.
Right. No reason to risk it at this point. The game's pretty much out of reach. Why risk hurting your own guys, right?
I do apologize putting 35 up on the board. We are still waiting the extra points.
Bit of an assumption
there. But it is up and good, so no need to backtrack there. But 3 minutes, 25 seconds remain in the fourth quarter. We'll go to one more commercial break before we take you to the end of this Raiders-Wolves matchup. We'll be right back on Sports Broadcast Solutions. All right, and we are back to wrap up this fourth quarter here. 3 minutes and 25 seconds left. The Raiders await the kickoff after the score. Tough matchup for the Raiders tonight, partner.
Yeah, Raiders are just posing this last drive, couple minutes left, just maybe hoping to use them to put a little something up, maybe just a few field goal points for the car ride home.
And before the kick, we have an offsides or maybe a timeout, some type of stoppage on the field before the kickoff.
Still awaiting the official call here.
Has to be an offsides of some sort or something like that because they are backing the Wolves up to the 35-yard line for a re-kick. So now that has the Raiders kick return team with their toes at the 15-yard line. So possibly looking to get some better field position to start this drive.
Yeah, that's the result most likely.
And a very good
So
kick.
quite
That
the
one
kick.
backs for Savvy up to the 5 as he takes off from there. Up the middle, tackled at the 25 to the 26 or 27-yard line.
Yeah, still able to get a solid 20-yard gain.
Return by number 5, Jack Rice, Savvy, to the 27.
Even,
Second by number 44.
Yeah, nothing
Big
overly
Prairie.
to write home about, but
I feel like a little bit of a highlight might be necessary for this Prairie Ridge kicker. He's got quite the leg on him.
as the offense takes over 26.5-yard line. Bauer in the shotgun, 4 wide receivers. And they go a handoff up the middle. I believe that was Havens. And it was. That was Havens, the running back up the middle for a gain
4-yard
of
gain by number
3
24,
or
Gavin
so.
Havens.
Another handoff to Havens, but he's going to break through, getting past the 40-yard line, up to the 45. That's good for a first down.
Run by number
Almost
24,
bringing
Gavin
good field
Havens.
position
Good
for the
for a
Raiders.
Raiders. First down.
Yeah, no, moving the ball now. You know, hey, at this point, it's probably Prairie Ridge. You know, hey, we don't need to hurt
Hey, it ain't over
anyone.
till it's
We don't
over.
need to get hurt. But again, you just want to see some positive.
That's a solid reception completed by number 7 for the Red Raiders. Not quite going to get the first down. They're going to push him just past midfield for the second down play coming up.
Yeah, there's Wyatt Fleck again. He's made some big plays here in this second half. One of the bright spots of this game.
Yeah, definitely got a good pair of hands on him. Even if Bauer's accuracy hasn't been quite up to par, he's still able to haul in most of the balls thrown towards his direction.
Wyatt Fleck, just a junior, as they go a handoff up to
he's
Havens
gonna
up the
break-
middle, and he gets a good gain there. Another chunk for a first down across the 35-yard line.
Another huge play for Gavin Havens. And even if you're going to say the Wolves' defense has been easing up a little bit, still excellent talent being shown from this junior, able to break through tackles and really find the holes that the offensive line is providing him.
Bauer in the shotgun here again on this first down. They go hand up again up the middle to Havens.
Once
Breaks
again,
one
getting past
tackle,
the first
fights
down
forward.
into the red zone, past the
Run
20-yard
by
line for
24,
Havens.
Gavin Havens. Good for a Red
Fights
Raider.
across the
First down.
15. And I understand at this point in the game, you know, some chunk plays and whatever haven't always been there earlier. But again, we're seeing successful runs, and we hadn't seen it all game.
Yeah, just another handoff to Havens. Not quite as big as the last one, but still good for, call it about 5. Going to get almost to the 5-yard
Number 7
line
on
with
the
that
play,
play
number
past the
24,
10.
Gavin Havens.
And yeah, that's just about every time Havens has touched the ball this drive. It's resulted in nearly every time a first down, twice now, of more than 20-yard gain.
Trips to the right of Bauer, inside the 10-yard line at the 6 on 2nd and 4. Bauer's going to keep this one, flip it into the end zone for a touchdown. On the catch there, Rasavi.
Touchdown, Raiders.
Zach Rasavi on the touchdown. So the Raiders get another touchdown with 1:15 remaining in this game.
Even if it won't affect the outcome of the game, still nothing wrong with a few field goal points for the
Touchdown by number 5.
So, you know, hey, like we said, on things to build off of. At least you're scoring some points. And that crooked number is just a little less. The kick here by Dominic Gusifi is up and no
That is a
good
miss.
wide right. So that'll make the score 35-13 in favor of the Wolves. Minute remaining in this ballgame.
Not sure that SBAT is going to exactly be a game changer here, but
right, so just a minute and 15 seconds left. Huntley's going to have 3 timeouts, but I got to assume you're probably not calling them.
Yeah, I think it'd be something of a display of poor sportsmanship to really call a single one at this point in the game. Just over a minute left. On defense, still down by 4 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, so not the matchup that the Raiders wanted. It's here. Prairie Ridge is a good football team. They're the 8th ranked team in the state. They make the playoffs. They get the first seed in the conference almost every year. They're a tough team. They play Huntley well every time, and tonight was no different. Man, that brings Prairie Ridge's points for up to 142 points, and their points against to only 33. They're outscoring opponents by over 100 points.
Keep in mind, that's only 4 weeks into the season that they've put up those impressive numbers. Doesn't get too much more impressive than that.
Yeah, with Huntley dropping now to 2-2, an onside kick here coming. Prairie Ridge up at the top at 3-0, and it's really them and Cary Grove fighting for the conference here. As we are going to go onside kick before we reset. Kicker Gusafi about ready to squib this one. And he actually just goes ahead and kicks it deep to the one man.
Almost to the 5-yard line there.
Back deep. Covers up. Gets what he can and gets tackled down. On the return there was Jesse Couts. A minute and 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Got to assume Vanderweel maybe 1 or 2 runs. And we're going to let the clock tick down to the 000.
Wouldn't assume there's a need for the Prairie Ridge coaches to feel like they need to run too many plays here. And as you can see, just taking a peek at the student section over here at Huntley High School, almost completely empty. Handful of students left at best.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, can't blame them.
Not much of a game anymore.
They stayed through halftime. They stayed into the third quarter, and I mean, here it was a little bit better of a second half played.
Put a couple points on the board. Didn't let up quite as many touchdowns.
But on the flip side, you wanna take the positives, but you know that Prairie Ridge started to take their foot off the gas pedal here in this fourth quarter. So,
if we're being honest, those consistent 15-yard Gavin Haven runs on the last drive. That wasn't going to happen if we tried in the first quarter.
Right. I mean, here, it's one of those things. It was a tough game. Nothing really was going well for the Raiders. You try to fight through it. You try to battle. And sometimes it's just not your night, and your opponent's got your number. And for the 4th year in a row, Prairie Ridge has our number.
Makes it feel like the issue might be a little more deep-rooted, huh?
And maybe there needs to be some type of sacrifice or something that goes on in the locker room next year before the game to try to get off this schneid that we are on against PR. But there's Vanderweel going to go ahead and take a knee. And with 40 seconds on the play clock and a minute remaining, we are going to need to do one more quarterback kneel, but with the Wolves in victory formation that will completely spell the end to this game for the Raiders on this Friday night.
Well, I don't know. It's not over till it's over. Still solid 45 seconds left.
I don't know if you could even write an ending that could be in favor of the Raiders in this one. As clock continues to tick, play clock under 10. Vanderweel will take one more snap, and that will bring us to the end of this game. We're going to go to commercial real quick, and then let the band play their goodbyes. And then we'll be right back for a quick recap on this game. So stay tuned on Sports Broadcast Solutions. All right. Let's go ahead and get this wrapped up here. Raiders, they fall short against the Prairie Ridge Wolves, 35-13. Not their game here tonight, but one of those things that the Raiders now they just need to flush it, move on. They're going on the road next week against Hampshire. One of the lesser teams. You beat them almost every year. What do they have to focus on for next week?
Well, I think overconfidence is an issue that really may have been squashed by this game because, as you just said, Hampshire tends to be a pretty easy win for Huntley, right? Last year won by several touchdowns. If I remember correctly, it was a complete shutout. In this game, pretty much completely blown out by Prairie Ridge. Kind of hard to feel confident after that, but still, even if just looking at the history of the Hampshire games, you got to make sure you're not completely blown out.
Yeah, again, you can't take any opponents lightly. Prairie Ridge didn't come in here after beating us 3 years in a row and take us lightly. They came out, they put the screws to us right away, and they ran away with it. Jacobs, a team that we usually beat on a year-to-year basis, we dropped to them. So now, on a 2-game losing streak, going on the road to Hampshire with some less confidence and whatnot, maybe not what you're looking for. So you can't take Hampshire for granted next week.
There's a good side and a bad side to it. Again, you never want to go into a game off a losing streak. You never want to go in, feeling disconfident. However,
use it as an opportunity.
You also probably feel a little bit of an edge after losing 2 games. It's a team that, let's say you play Hampshire going in 4-0. You're probably going to pretty much blow them off. And that's not, even if your team feels much better than theirs, it's not something you ever really want to happen in this conference. So, feeling a little bit of that mean edge, feeling like no win feels completely guaranteed, I feel like that can actually maybe benefit this Red Raider team going into Hampshire.
Yeah, it's been several years since we have kind of found ourselves in a position where we're really struggling in the season on a game-by-game basis, on a quarter-by-quarter, what have you, that it's one of those things that coaching is really going to have to, because you do have a lot of people returning. You got to lean on those veterans, lean on the coaching staff to get you through this hard time, because here, 2 losses doesn't end your season.
Right.
But you really got to figure out how to turn it back on, because once you start getting into the 3-4 multiple loss categories, now you're starting to run into trouble.
You're on the bad side of the season, right? Already this loss most likely puts Huntley out of contention for the Fox Valley Conference. Most likely puts Huntley out of contention for the playoffs. But that doesn't mean that they should just blow off the rest of their
No, you can't. Now, is it possible that here and there maybe we see some more sophomores get some time in on the offensive and defensive line or at the skill positions? Probably.
I think absolutely, yeah. Especially if they feel out of competition for the playoffs. I feel like there's no reason not to
build the future. But you know what? Here, we don't have to keep harping on it. You've been harping on it all game long. There hasn't been much positive for the Raiders. So, we'll go ahead and lay off of them a little bit. There were a couple of things here and there that they can build off of, some things to learn. Stick to your game plan is the biggest thing. Don't get away from the run. You're a run-first team. So,
don't forget your roots.
Right. I think if Huntley can take that mindset into the rest of the season, stay true to their identity, ultimately, we can have a promising and an exciting rest of the season.
I think absolutely. Yeah. There's no reason. It's not like there were no glimmers of hope in this game. It was an all-around disappointing performance, but I feel like the message that can be taken away by the Huntley coaches for this game is just like how you were saying, even though I think there's a little bit more of a diversity in the offense in general than there was last season. I think that can be a great thing, but that doesn't mean you should completely ignore the run game that has historically made this program great. And I feel like this game, it should be a very strong reminder to the coaches to not forget those roots, which I think ultimately should help the Raiders for the rest of the season.
Agreed. So, for the Raiders, go ahead, flush this one. You're on a 2-game losing streak now, sitting at 2-2, going on the road against Hampshire. Time to turn things around a little bit. So, for the Raiders, flush it, let it go.
Right.
And with that, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. For Anthony Collada, my partner Caden Slad here. We wanted to thank Sports Broadcast Solutions and Kyle Smith for not only hooking us up with the stream here, but also providing us with a lot of the technology that made this stream possible. We appreciate everyone. for being on here, listening to a YouTube or a radio-style broadcast on YouTube. We know it wasn't, maybe the best way to watch on YouTube, but we appreciate bringing you Huntley High School football. So with that, we sign off tonight on Sports Broadcast Solutions. Huntley Red Raiders 13, Prairie Ridge Wolves 35.